What's up, everyone? It's the Interview Queen Alicia Toot here, and be sure to watch Tru Heel Heat.
Alright, this is Dan House here, very nice, very evil. You are watching Tru Heel Heat. Probably should have had MJF do this, but here we are.
Welcome to Tru Heel Heat, the place where we use insider terms because we think we know what the fuck we're talking about, even though we don't. My name's Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it.
Rob Van Dam, listen to Tru Heel Heat. Pow.
What's up, Tru Heel Heat? Tru Heel Heat.
What's up?
Tru Heel Heat. Hello. You know the rest. It is the Flagship Podcast. It's Saturday morning. You know what that means. It's time for the Saturday morning cookout, the Tru Heel Heat Flagship Podcast, talking about the world of professional wrestling with 2 weeks left in 2024. We got WWE heavily discussing Roman Reigns versus CM Punk for WrestleMania 41. You got Kenny Omega and Adam Copeland expected to return to AEW. And we got all that went down last night in the Hammerstein Ballroom with ROH Final Battle, including Nigel McGuinness making his long-awaited return to the Hammerstein to face Lee Moriarty. You had Danhausen making a return, and that's the big show before we get a whole weekend at the Hammerstein Ballroom AEW Continental Classic coming to a close as we had a Match of the Year candidate on Wednesday. So there's a lot to discuss, a lot to wrap up from Saturday night's main event all the way to last night. So let's hit the intro. Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. We are live on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch for Tru Heel Heat 308, returning favors, discussing the latest wrestling news, including reports of WWE discussing Roman Reigns versus CM Punk for next year's WrestleMania 41. You had the build to the Raw on Netflix with two huge matches being named, including the main event between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Kenny Omega and Adam Copeland are expected to return to All Elite Wrestling very, very soon. Recap of this week in wrestling with Saturday night's main event from last Saturday, SmackDown, Raw, NXT, AEW, Dynamite Holiday Bash, Collision, Winter is Coming last Saturday, Rampage Holiday Bash, ROH TV from this past Thursday, and ROH Final Battle 2024 from the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City, as well as NJPW Strong Style Evolved. So you know what the deal is. Here's my co-host, the chief elf over at Santa's play place, wherever it is. Love the hat. The princess of all the true heels, Miss Krssi Love.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Where's your hat, SP? You were supposed to have co-hats today. Maybe you have to go put it on. But good morning.
I just put on my Christmas sweater because I couldn't find it. I didn't have time to get a hat yesterday. I was at ROH till like freaking 2 a.m. Like, gee, I kid. No time.
That's no problem.
No
it's
time.
okay. No worries. It's okay. You're still in the holiday cheer.
I got one more.
Yeah,
we got one last Tru Heel Heat. It's still, even though it's past Christmas, I still got one more where I can wear a Christmas hat. And it counts.
It's still the holiday. So yes.
Well, back to back weeks with a Christmas sweater. So at least I'm in the spirit.
That's true. That's true. So we're still trying to get everything ready for Wednesday. So yes, I get it.
Exactly. And of course, we got the true draw himself. Josh, how are you feeling? Josh frozen?
Yeah.
He's frozen.
He's frozen too.
He looks very stern.
Right? He looks pissed off. Like, who pissed him off? Oh, damn.
He was pissed off. His internet stopped working. That's what the deal was.
But yes, what's getting on the amount of subscribers. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you.
We set the goal at the end of 2023, around this time last year.
Yeah.
We set the goal for 20,000 subscribers in 2024. And look at this. Look at us. Look at where we've come. 1 year later, we've hit our goal, 20,000 subscribers here for the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. And I think he's fixed his internet issues. Josh, how are you feeling?
Yeah, it's gonna be like this all day. It keeps jumping like different Wi-Fi's in and out. I should be fine now, I guess.
Fucking snow. Excuse me, my language.
We'll see.
Yes, let's hope. Let's hope it's gonna be all right. But yes, we appreciate y'all for joining us live.
It's gonna be all right. It's definitely gonna be all right. It's definitely gonna be all right.
We appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping the thumbs up on this video. You can share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, we appreciate each and every one of you helping us to our goal of 20,000 subscribers. We really would not be going this far if it wasn't for the community that we've built here. So we thank each and every one of you who's watched the video, who's liked the video, who's shared the video, who's comment on any of our videos, every super chat, any comment in the live chat. We appreciate y'all for making Tru Heel Heat possible to reach our goal. And we will let you know probably by next week what is our next goal for 2025, because you always got to set goals, always for the best. But yes, thank you guys for that, and congratulations to y'all for making it happen, because y'all are the reason why it happened. But Of course, if you're with us live, you could sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you, hear your thoughts on this week in wrestling. Of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to spread the holiday cheer and show your support for us hitting our goal of 20,000 subscribers for 2024, you can send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate the support. We got Eric Isaac in the chat. It says, season greetings. THH fam, 2024 has been one crazy ass year for us wrestling fans, for sure. And 2025 looks to be even wilder than ever. He's like a narrator for a TV show. Like usually that's how his comments read.
It has to be.
We also got a super chat donation here from the King Ellie Show. Thank you so much, King Ellie. He says, at this point, just give me a fatal four-way. Roman, Cody, Rock, Punk, please, everyone. With all due respect.
I don't know about that one, friend. I
was gonna say, for all due respect, that does not sound appeasing to me.
It gives a disservice for all four of them. Like they all need to be in different matches, if that makes sense. Like Cody, Rock, Roman, Punk. They all need to be separate. Like the main event, one night each.
Exactly, be fine.
Too bad for Seth, though. He gets Raw. It's
gonna be crazy if Rock decides to wrestle at WrestleMania and Roman versus Punk is a night one main event. That's gonna be insane. Imagine Roman Reigns as the main event, and that's like the biggest night one main event ever.
It's at that, bro. Like, and I hope you go, SP. Like, you have to be there this time, and I hope you are in a press box because I will not be able to go. But I pray that you will be able to witness this.
I mean, Las Vegas is pretty expensive, so I wouldn't hold out my hopes on that because I have 2 4-year-olds who will be 5 by then, and I kind of like my money, and that's why I'm going to the UK where it's less expensive than New York. So I don't know if I'll be back by then.
Okay,
just gonna let that, just letting that out into the air now.
Got it. Okay, no problem.
If I am, I'm definitely gonna try. I'll definitely reach out to the contacts that I've made. But yeah, and Las Vegas.
That's how you feeling now? It's like meh.
It's because I'm old. I'm 36, going on 56. So.
Okay. You're 36, but you feel like you're 56. Got it. I understand. Yeah. Old souls, like everything doesn't feel the same like it used to. I get it. I understand. Trust me. I totally understand. But yeah, main eventing night one is like, and those are usually the best nights, you know what I'm saying? But hey.
Well, the WWE did nail the 2-night WrestleMania this year.
This year, both nights were consistent. We can agree on that.
Night 2 was better than night 1 this year.
It was for the first time since they've done the 2-night shows. Yes, we can agree. We all said that. I think actually we all agreed that this year night 2 was way better than night 1, but both were very good though.
Yeah.
They flowed. They were consistent. They had good matches. They were great. We froze to death. That's all. So
that's also fair. We got Nathaniel in the chat who says, "I'm all for Roman versus CM Punk at WrestleMania."
I think that's definitely a WrestleMania match. I don't think we should have it at Rumble like that. That's no.
No. You don't do that match at Rumble. You do it at a WrestleMania. You do it at a 2-night SummerSlam. I was saying SummerSlam next year because I thought that Roman would be involved in whatever The Rock was doing.
Right.
But if it's being heavily discussed, it's probably the second biggest match he can have outside of facing The Rock.
Correct. I agree. And again, putting Paul Heyman as like the Miss Elizabeth of it all, like he's caught in the middle. If we're being nostalgic, we're going through our childhood to be like, who's going to win Paul Heyman? Like whose corner will he be in? I'm in both corners. Are you?
But you also got the fact that you know ever since this report came out, Krssi, Cody's been on his cell phone nonstop. He's been
Because
speed
Cody needs
dialing Dwayne. He's like, Dwayne, please come back.
you got the back signal.
I don't know if I'll have my WrestleMania night one. I need to finish my story. We need to finish our story. Please come back, Maui.
Maui.
No. I don't want you to be Hobbs. I want you to be The Rock. I want you to be the final boss. Please come back.
Yeah.
Please
and he has
come
to have
back.
that same energy like he had before he left.
Hey,
like cussing up a storm and
Dwayne, what do you want to talk about? I want to talk about getting this WrestleMania main event. I know what's going on, Josh. The reason why your Wi-Fi internet's giving you trouble is because Cody's using up all your Wi-Fi to call The Rock internationally.
If he is, not my problem.
Damn.
Oh, we also
what you can respect Josh because he keeps the same energy all year round. So it doesn't change. Like he's like, okay, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like I don't care. Like it is that's one thing that it always is consistency. You gotta love it.
We got another super chat donation here from Balabi. Thank you so much, Balabi. He says, hot damn, is that 20K I see in the sub count? Let's get it, THH. Started from the bottom, now we here. Yes, Balabi's one of the OGs in the chat. Been shooting in the gym with us. We appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat donation today. We got Santo in the chat who says, good morning, THH fam. I hope all of you have a great Christmas week. SmackDown was decent for a tape show. I disagree, but thank you, Santo, for joining us.
Listen. What are you gonna do, guys? What are you gonna do?
I didn't say send into the super chat.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been bad if I responded to a super chat like that. I Made Beats who says congrats on 20K. Thank you so much. I Made Beats. Safet saying the same. We got Call Me Mr. Bondo, one of our other members. He says, it's that Tru Heel Heat. And we got another super chat donation, this time from Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries, for the support. He says, happy holidays to you folks, and congrats for getting to the goal of 20,000 subscribers. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries, for all that you do for us, sending those super chats, always supporting us on the channel, especially in 2024. We appreciate y'all for that. We are doing our year-end awards on next Saturday's Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast, so you can expect the link where you can give your top 5, give your picks for all the awards. That's going to be dropping in the community tab today, also on the Patreon for our Patreon backers as well, and as for our team as well. We've been voting on our top 5s as far as our end of year videos, which we are started to drop yesterday. We had our AEW women's tier list that dropped yesterday. Me and Jimmy, we did both the men's and the women's, and that shit went like 4 hours, so we just split it in 2. Smartly, me and Josh separated it between nights to do the men's and the women's, because we would have topped off at like 5 hours, because the WWE roster is bigger than the AEW roster.
True.
That was insane.
4 hours though, bro. Well, you could tell that you
5 hours with me and Josh if you combine both videos for the men's and the women's.
God bless
9
you.
hours of tier list. That's why I'm still Jerome to YouTube, even on Saturday.
God bless you guys. We love you guys. This is why we got the 20K, because you guys do all of the hard work. We appreciate and love you guys all. And the guys that edit in the background, we love y'all.
Yes,
at least I do.
The unsung heroes,
Yeah.
Johnny, Baby Seth,
Yep.
Romeo, who does all our thumbnails,
Chris
and of
G.
course, Chris G, who does all our shorts. So yeah, we got a lot of people on our team that contribute and are the reason why we've
You don't
been
see
able
them,
to
but
hit
they
20,000 subscribers.
correct. You don't see them, but they are the ones that make everything roll effortlessly or smoothly when you see everything. So yes, even when you hear everything, the audios, all that stuff, that's them. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, if you're a podcast listener, thank Baby Seth, thank Johnny. He's always the one who uploads these flagship podcasts to drop on our podcast channels. So, and if you want us to drop more of our stuff, because we don't drop all of our content that we do here on YouTube over on our podcast channels, but if you do want more of our content over there, let us know. Drop a 5-star if you're watching the listen to us on iTunes. If you're listening to us on Spotify, like it, follow the page for Tru Heel Heat, and let us know what you guys think. And you can also, of course, go to our social media and let us know if you want more on our podcast channels as well. But we got a lot to get into. Keep showing us love. Keep showing your support in the chat, because we got to get into this week. Before we do that, we got to start off with our Tru Heel roll call. This is how we show our support to everyone supporting us across social media and here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, as well as our Patreon. Our top 3 conversation starters on our Tru Heels group page on Facebook, our Tru Heel Trinity. You got Jermaine Packman, you got the Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting, and you got Stewie John Palmer. Our Patreon backers, you got Vala B, you got Alan Weinstein, you got Nick Jackson, Alice McCarthy, Professor Chris, Trey, Robert, Steve, Ladarius, John, Dan, Kobe, Dolores, John Martin, DJ Eric, Marcus Ryan, James, Alan, Santo. Thank you so much for supporting us over at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. We always appreciate that. For the support over there. Follow B telling us more shorts and more hot take clips. Hey, I see y'all been enjoying our little clips from our flagship podcast. As far as the shorts, if I go to more shows, you will have more shorts. I will have more shorts from Ring of Honor Final Battle. Yeah, I'll try to put maybe I don't think I have any more video. I had to erase a lot of my video for Saturday night's main event. I was taking stuff for Sports Illustrated that they'll probably use. But if I go to more shows, we'll have more shorts. As far as recap shorts, that's Chris G's perspective over there. So I will let him know that y'all want more shorts. But definitely that. We got Vala B who says we need more clips of Josh keeping that energy. That's the one that gets the hits.
Shit, like our episode 300, that shit about to hit 9,000.
Nice.
That shit would probably be by like 10,000 by the end of January.
Wow.
Because that shit just keeps ticking up. It's just,
really?
Like every couple of days, it'll be like one of our most viewed videos when we check the studio.
The studio stuff. Oh, that's what's up, guys. Love it.
We got Call Me Mr. Vonda. He said it's proactive. It gets the people going. Indeed. Let's go to what we missed. And of course, we're going to start with Saturday night's main event from Long Island, New York, Nassau Coliseum.
The house show?
Huh?
The house show.
I'm not going to front. If it wasn't for the angle that y'all did not see until it went on social media or until I posted the video, I would have said, I was like, this was a very nice themed house show. It was very nice. Nice themed house show. Thanks for the pyro. Thanks for the good matches, good energetic crowd, but we did see something historic on this show, Miss Krssi Love, Josh. We saw Miss Chelsea Green defeating Michin to become the inaugural WWE Women's United States Champion, celebrating with Piper Niven in the post-match. You had Drew McIntyre. He beat Sami Zayn in what was a very good opener to the show. Liv Morgan retained the WWE Women's World Championship against Io Sky in a solid bout. Post-match, you had Rhea Ripley come down to stare down with Liv. Gunther defeated Damian Priest and Finn Balor in a very good three-way matchup to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther powerbombing both men to get the win. And finally, you had the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes defeating Kevin Owens in what was another very good matchup on the show. A great main event to retain the undisputed WWE Championship. Featured 2 ref bumps. Featured Kevin Owens getting a visual pin with a stunner But in the end, it was Cody Rhodes using the crossroads on a steel chair to retain the undisputed WWE Championship. And it was the Winged Eagle Championship, not the real one, because it's quite obvious that's not the real one. But it was still the Winged Eagle Championship. This led to our post-match where after the show went off the air, Owens attacked Rhodes from behind and delivered a package power driver to the champion. This led to officials and doctors coming out and Cody being stretchered out of the arena to close the show. Well, after the show went off the air. So very dramatic close to the show. I was very hyped to see a package power driver in a WWE ring. First time. Kevin Owens has been in this company for now officially a decade, and that's the first time he's hit the package power driver in a WWE ring. So as a longtime Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen fan, I was very happy to be there live and experience that and get a video of that, knowing that. And I was like one of the few people in the press box that kind of knew that the show was over. No, knew that the show was over.
Oh,
and I
okay.
knew that it was something like, I was like, oh, let me get my camera out. I got to take this because I was like, the people ain't seeing this. Let me post this up. So, yeah, I was one of the few people that kind of knew that the show was off the air. And this was like a kind of cool angle that they were doing off the air. It's got a bunch of views on their social media. If you weren't aware, Joe Tessitore took the time from talking about their world champion getting his neck broken to talk about how they got 45 million views for the video of Cody Rhodes almost breaking his neck. So that was cool. But all that withstanding, I thought that it was a fun show to be at live. Probably from what I hear from most people, they thought it was a fun presentation show. But I don't think it was like a blowaway show, a home run show. I heard some people saying that. I'm just like, are we watching the same thing? I was literally at the event, and I didn't think it was a home run show. It was just a nice 7 out of 10 type show. Krssi, what did you think about Saturday night's main event? What did you think about them doing the angle with Kevin Owens delivering the package power driver to Cody Rhodes off the air? And do you think that was the right decision?
Like I said, it was a nice, cute house show per se. Happy that Chelsea won. But you know, hey, it was good matches and everything. It was cute for the 2 hours that it was on TV. It was a lot of people that do not watch wrestling were watching it, if that makes sense. So I think they did what they wanted to do, which is like get people to watch and say, hey, we're going to be on Netflix very soon. Every commercial showed it. So yes.
You gotta stamp the point in. You gotta cement the point, solidify the point.
You have to submit the point in. Yes, I agree. So with that being said, I think it was good. I like the angle not being on TV. It's okay. That's fine. Because everyone's gonna have a camera phone out like you did, and they're gonna show it on TV, and then they're gonna put it on their website or their Instagram page or their this or their YouTube channel. They were gonna do it anyway. So I don't mind it being off the air, and I like that he did it. He did something different. I'm happy that they approved that. I think they're really ready to get down and gritty for Netflix, something that they haven't done in a long time.
I thought the after the show went off the air, and despite me having the opportunity to post a video of something that the fans watching at home did not watch and posting it and benefiting from it on my social media, I think it was the wrong decision. You show your hottest angle on the TV that's being shown to, like you said, new viewers who would have saw that angle and been like, oh man, I gotta see the next show.
Yeah,
I gotta see the next show. I gotta see what happens to Kevin Owens. I gotta see how Cody gets his revenge. There was nothing on that show that hooked viewers in for the future. That was the hottest angle in the building. That would have been the hottest angle on the show. Okay. It should have been aired. You could have benefited from the social media views and all that stuff that you got anyway. You would have got it anyway, because guess what? One of your biggest social media clips of the year is Roman Reigns stopping CM Punk from walking out the War Games cage that was seen by everybody that watched it on the Peacock. Yeah. But guess what? If you don't air it on Peacock during the pay-per-view and you just show it on social media, then it benefits. No, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. You play to the new viewers. You try to get the new viewers to come back. I thought they should have aired that.
Okay, you have a valid point. I see what you're saying. It makes sense now. Like, don't worry about the viewers seeing it after. You wanted to have them see it live and right away to make them come back to say, "Hey, I want to watch this." Makes sense. I see. Yeah. Okay.
Josh, what did you think about Saturday night's main event and the angle with Cody and KO?
It was a house show. I mean, not much to write home about. There was people saying that, oh, this show was incredible, it was amazing. I'm just like,
who said that?
I'm like, a lot of the WWE pro WWE fans, they love WWE. To them, they don't do nothing wrong. But when I was like, I'm just like, you watching the same show as I'm watching, because that shit is pretty mid. I don't know about incredible and fantastic. Like, let's kind of tone it down on that. But besides that, I mean, seeing Jesse Ventura was cool.
Yes, that is true. Yes, seeing.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of worried about him. I was kind of worried because, like,
he's old.
Well, not only because he's old, but Jesse, sometimes, like, when you give him the mic or sometimes when you give him a platform, he tends to, like, go off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of like, I was like, oh shit, they're giving him TV time. He's gonna make the most of it. But I thought he actually did pretty well. He was a great heel commentator, like some old school stuff, like some stuff you really don't see that much anymore. He kind of like put his input. And it's also good that he knew his stuff, especially when they talked about like Dusty and shit. And then he made it clear, I never wrestled Dusty. He's like, I never wrestled him. But he was actually a good part. Like, I thought like his part was decent, like not overly done, but I thought it was like the right touch for it. As far as the KO and Cody stuff, the match was all right. I didn't find nothing that crazy about the match, but then also the way it finished. Obviously they're trying to build up to another third match, the way that the actual match finished. As far as the angle, that should have been on TV. Because even I was just like, when you showed it in the group chat, I was just like, why the fuck didn't you just show this on TV? I was just like, that kind of would have soured, salvaged the show for me.
Make the show like really good.
But like everything they're doing after with KO has been great. So I mean, downside, they should have shown it. Upside, KO is being KO, like he's kind of being himself. But then they're building
Kevin Owens.
Yeah, they're building up to a third match, but I'm just like, you're gonna have him lose with the third match, and Cody gonna have a clean sweep again. He did it stuff already. I'm like, you're gonna have a clean sweep again. I'm like, all right, cool. I guess that's what you want.
I guess he's down with being a loser, like Finn Balor.
Cody loves his 3-0 rivalries. I mean, it's been entertaining despite the kind of lopsided results.
Yeah, I mean, it's been good.
It's been Cody's strongest feud since probably the Rock
outside of Bloodline stuff
during WrestleMania season.
Outside of Bloodline stuff, I would say too. Like, take the Bloodline out, that the KO stuff has been his best stuff.
Yeah, most definitely. But we will talk more about that in the weeks to come. But they have been following up by emphasizing it on all the shows, the angle that went off the air. But that is not where all the talk in the wrestling world is on. We're nearly upon the road to WrestleMania 41. So plenty of talk about potential card has already begun. The state of the main event scene heading into WrestleMania 41 is currently unclear, with no reported match cards or concrete plans in place. With The Rock expected to be out of the picture per different reports, WWE is discussing several avenues for the top stars. According to a report from Fightful Select, WWE has discussed the possibility of booking a blockbuster match between CM Punk and Roman Reigns on this grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. In the aftermath of CM Punk returning to team with the OG Bloodline at Survivor Series, it's being reported that while a match between Punk and Reigns was not originally the plan, it is now being heavily discussed, with Punk believing to be wanting the match to happen, of course. Punk and Reigns have had known heat in the past, with Reigns being among those in WWE not fond on the idea of Punk returning to the company last year. Given the results of Survivor Series, the pair are seemingly fine working together. It is noted by Fightful that if The Rock does end up showing up and returning to the mix in time for WrestleMania, then the card could change further. Ibu of WrestlePeers also provided some insights into these plans, mentioning in post on X that there is plenty of jockeying for the top spots at WrestleMania right now. In particular, CM Punk is hoping for a main event matchup to finally be checked off his bucket list. Additionally, The Rock's potential return would see him face just Cody Rhodes, not the aforementioned triple threat we've been discussing on various episodes of the flagship podcast here. So his involvement would not affect plans for Punk versus Reigns. And of course, a lot of the discussions in regards to Punk versus Reigns comes off the heels of Survivor Series, where, like I said before, their viral clip of Reigns stopping Punk from exiting the War Games cage got 104 million views on Instagram, their highest viewed Instagram reel of 2024. So, what do you guys think? Krssi Love will start, or Josh, will start with you. What do you think about CM Punk versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? And should that be the headline match of WrestleMania, meaning to close night 2 of the 2-night event?
I mean, I'm fine with the matchup. I've been saying it for a while. I think this is more appealing than Punk versus Seth. Even though, I mean, Punk versus Seth has gotten hot recently, but that's because they're doing it on Netflix, so that kind of makes sense for that range. For a nice build-up, I think Punk and Roman kind of makes more sense because there's a lot more story with that you could tell lead up to the WrestleMania. So I'm fine with that. As far as the headliner, I don't know. It's one of those things where, I mean, you know, what's gonna be like in place? Like, is it just a singles match? All that stuff. Like, is there something involved? It's a little bit kind of, it's one of those things where, you know, you headline this will be the night 2 main event, which is like, you know, technically that is like the main event. And you put Punk versus Roman to that. I guess it depends on what the company wants. I mean, that's something that I can say is like,
I'm asking you what you think. Do you think it should close night 2 of WrestleMania right now?
Right now, I mean, there's nothing on table. No.
For Rock and Cody for night 2?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Rock and Cody, we don't know. Oh. There's been up and down plans, but from the
I didn't mean to cut you off, Josh.
From the multiple reports from Meltzer and SRS, it seems like Rock is not currently being factored in. Yeah. He could come back, he could return to the mix, but he's currently not being factored in, and that's why this match has changed, because this was not the original plan. Like that's what the report also specifies, that this was not the original planned match for WrestleMania, and it's now recently being discussed. So if it's recently being discussed, that means that plans have apparently changed, which means Rock is not being factored into WrestleMania right now.
Yeah, for me, me personally, on paper right now, I'm gonna say no. It has nothing to do with Cody. It has nothing to do with. I'm making that clear. It has nothing to do with Cody.
Your feelings with Cody about Cody?
Because you know what it is with Cody. You know what it is about Cody. Cody already won his title. Like, Cody, for me, already won his title, and that's all I really wanted.
So he could be like match number 5. Is that what you're saying?
So my question to you, because this is what, I'm sorry, Josh. I'm going to use you as an example, sir. I'm sick of these people who tell me, no, I don't like that idea. And then I always ask them. So I'm going to ask you the same thing. Okay, That's a problem. You don't like that match. What's the solution? What match should close night 2 of WrestleMania? If The Rock's not factored in, what match outside of Punk versus Roman should or could or can headline night 2 of WrestleMania?
What match can headline night 2 of WrestleMania? My mad scientist booking Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Fuck it. You give John Cena the main event to retire. Go ahead. There you go. There you go. There you go. You know, honestly, that's just me making up some shit. That's just me making up some shit.
I was literally about to say, I was like, you're not even Josh believes.
Because honestly, I prefer the Undisputed Championship to be a main event. Because that's just me being old school. I like the fact that the championships, like, it should matter in that aspect. Yeah. So I like that. I always like that idea.
I really think that what Dion's saying here is going to happen. I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now. I think that Punk beats Seth on Netflix to become #1 contender. Then you have Punk beat Gunther at the Royal Rumble. You have Roman win the Royal Rumble. And then you can play with that for a month. Stop blowing your load in the first week after the Royal Rumble and telling us who the Royal Rumble winner is going to pick. Because that is interesting television of Roman Reigns choosing between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk for the WrestleMania main event.
Yeah.
And then in the weeks that we're building it up, we're slow burning it. You have Paul Heyman and Punk reveal the favor. And then the favor, whatever it is the catalyst for Roman picking Punk at WrestleMania. That all falls in line. That's a very interesting story.
Yeah, that alone, like if you used to do something like that, for me, that's why I'm like, I think a belt needs to be involved for it to be the actual headliner. At least for me personally, I do believe, again, WWE people are been saying it. Oh, it's as hot as it is. You have the stars, you have the main eventers, you have the pull to do it. So, if it's a regular match, like I said, if it's a regular match, I think night 1 would be fine. Roman still gets the main event, and that would be like what, his 9th, 10th WrestleMania, right? Like,
10. He's widening the gap between him and he passed Hogan with the 2 night main events last year. And now he's gonna get the gap even further.
As he should. Fuck Hulk Hogan. So as he should. I'm glad he did that.
Who? You mean Cody or Roman?
Roman.
Of course, okay. Roman.
Yeah.
Cody's only main evented 3 shows. 3 main events.
Well, yeah, 3. Well, technically 3. Yeah. So I'm like, damn, he already got 3, and he just came back. Like, wow. But yeah, I'm with that. As far as who Cody would face for a night 2, it has to be The Rock. Like, if it ain't The Rock, then I'm like, he's kind of screwed.
Yeah,
you're like literally Triple H needs to tell Cody, like, I don't know, how good your relationship is with Dwayne.
And that also kind of falls.
I think you should talk to him so you can headline night 2.
And
we really want you to headline night 2, but we really can't do it if Roman is versus Punk.
Yeah, and it's not like so much like on Cody. It's just the way direction of creative has gone with WWE. It's like we have these guys, right? Like, like when we did our tier list, there's certain guys who are just like far above ahead, right? That's Cody, Punk, Roman, realistically, like on paper, like those 3 guys.
Those are the top 3 stars,
right?
In the company.
Yeah, so like those are like far ahead. Everybody else is kind of like, some people are not like, they're like second, but they're not even close to that. So like, for example, like I was to say, oh yeah, put Cody with Seth. Not only we already seen that rivalry, but Cody has a clean sweep over Seth. Yeah. So why would I want to see that?
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, why would I want to see that? Cody versus Orton. Yeah, that could be interesting. But then is Randy Orton? He's like in legend status to the point that it's like all you really need before Orton is put on a great match. But he's probably not going to win anything major at this point.
Right at this point in the game. Yeah.
So it's like, Yeah, so it's like, I'm not saying like, oh, it's WWE's fault. That's just the way the chart is over
Excuse
there.
me.
They just have
Thank you.
certain guys who are just above. Those three guys, you have them in the mix. They're gonna headline one of those nights of WrestleMania, both nights. Like either of them are gonna be involved, either night 1, night 2 headliners. Everybody else is just gonna be catching up. That's just what it is. It's business.
It's a business. Yeah.
So I say this as someone who I think on this channel after WrestleMania 40, I think I literally said or thought to myself, Cody had already won Men's Wrestler of the Year in like April after finishing his story at WrestleMania 40. I say that he already won it, and then he's had a good reign with the championship, meaning that he's had great matches, he's had strong, memorable feuds. The company is thriving as far as business on their events and everything, but I think that we have to have the serious conversation. Cody Rhodes is not a number one guy. I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry to say that.
You saying he's like the number 2 or 3 guy?
He's a strong Roman's promo last year. Do you remember it, Krssi? When he said, "You're not the one, you're the 2. You might be the greatest number 2 of all time." He's not that. He's not that, because literally Roman, when he said it, was standing next to the greatest number 2 of all time, The Rock. He was a strong number 1. Don't get me wrong. Austin gets his neck injury in 1999. Rock just smoothly goes into that number 1 spot, and they have their greatest year ever in 2000. So like Rock was an incredibly strong number 1, like one of the top 10 greatest number 1s of all time. That is why he is the greatest number 2 of all time. He's number 1 with a bullet as far as being the number 2 of the company, because he was number 2 to Stone Cold Steve Austin during the Attitude Era, the biggest boom period in professional wrestling history. But Cody Rhodes is number 2 to Roman Reigns during the second biggest boom period in wrestling history. Well, or the third biggest outside of the golden era in the 80s. Like, he is number 2. It just is what it is. Like, even when you really examine the year, when they were on Fox, before Roman Reigns lost the championship, they're doing 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, almost to 3 million on SmackDown on the WrestleMania season. After and throughout the end of the Fox run with Cody on top, they were like 2, 2.1, sometimes below 2 on certain weeks. Like, the ratings went down. It did. They lost like 100,000 to 200,000 people in the viewership. And then it's gone down even further on the USA network. Like, that is not something that's going to be talked about. That's not something that's going to be said, especially as we close down the year and the great year that Cody had. Well, but it hasn't been all smelling roses as far as his business end of things. That's why I wanted to note that, because I did look that up this week. But outside of that, he's never felt like the main focus this entire year after WrestleMania. Like, after WrestleMania, they did so much work to build up Solo Sikoa and build up the new bloodline ahead of Roman coming back at SummerSlam that Cody felt like the number 2 most important thing on his own show with no Roman Reigns. Then Roman comes back and he definitely feels like number 2. So that is what I'm saying, like, for the great year that he has. And I am a person in our year-end video, spoiler alert, as well as on any other year-end awards that I've contributed to, I've put Cody number 1 Men's Wrestler of the Year. But I feel like he's number 1 Men's Wrestler of the Year because WWE is the promotion of the year, and he's been presented as the guy who's supposed to be the face of the company. But I think that when you look at the little minute details of it all, it doesn't smell all roses to me. What do you think, Josh, as our number 1 Cody fan?
I think it's a bunch of bullshit. That's what I think. That's what I'm just playing.
That was
in regards to the ratings thing, it's kind of a complicated discussion, because usually with WWE stuff, a lot of people don't really don't harbor on that. And I think, I mean, there's obvious reasons why. There's reasons why you hear about the NXT stuff way more than the SmackDown and Raw stuff. If you know what I mean. So like, I don't know. We usually not to pay attention to all that stuff, because even with Raw, right? I could easily say, oh, you know, Punk came back and, you know, Raw is doing their lowest viewerships in this long. To me, it's not doing me any favors when it comes to that. But I mean, it's a fair discussion. Like, if you really break it down and you really look at it, it is a fair discussion. Like, if you're having a fair discussion about it, I mean, those things are interesting. But then also, I mean, WrestleMania season, especially the way they build it up this year, like the way they build it up with WrestleMania season, there's a lot of must-watch TV. So, I mean, it was kind of hard not to watch the build-up to all that shit during that. So, but then also, I mean, historically, after WrestleMania season, quote unquote, the viewership usually kind of does like go down a little bit depending on the times. And then during the winter time, that's where you see your lower numbers, because it's winter. Mondays, usually Monday Night Football, you know, sports are on and all that shit. All that's a factor too. But again, I think it's a fair discussion, like if you really break it down and look at it. But the thing is like, I wonder how WWE views it. Like, do they see that and they're like, like, oh shit, maybe we need to take the belt off of him. You know what I mean? Like, I think back in the day,
I don't think they think like that. I think Triple H is all like,
I think with Triple H, I don't think, but like, say like if it was Vince,
we have a GPS that we're getting to. And
I think Vince was more of that guy. Like, he was more of like that person of like, oh, we need to take the belt off because they're not viewing viewership. But then also what benefits Cody is like the other events, like the PLEs, all that stuff that he's either main evented or has been on. All that does come a factor too. So it's like, I don't know how they view it, but they see he's still bringing in business and he's still their top merch seller, which I think he is, right? Because they're usually very vague on those kind of information. Yeah, I mean, at the same time, I mean, it's Roman Reigns. I mean, you know, he's your homegrown talent. I mean, Cody is too, technically, but he did leave for those 6 years. So, you know, and Roman, you kind of put the focus on him, and then he was your guy at one point. And then, you know, you try to make him the big dog, he got rejected. But now he's at a point where it's like, oh shit, like we finally got what we wanted. It took us 12 years to get there, but we finally got what we wanted. And, you know, I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, I get it. Roman Reigns has put in the work, and if people consider him a number one, I'm not going to really argue that, because he's proven that. The only thing, like, on a technical standpoint, the only thing you could really argue is like, well, he's barely there. But at the same time, when he goes there, it's important. And, you know, ratings go up and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's hard to hate Roman Reigns now. Back in the day, it was easy. Now it's hard to say, like,
since the pandemic, you can't hate on him no more.
You can't hate on him. You can't deny his success.
Yep.
I mean, so it's, you know, like Krssi said, you know, I'm just keeping the same energy. I can't argue that.
We got a super chat donation here from Dion Jenkins. Thank you so much, Dion. He says, this may be unpopular opinion, but peak Vince is a better booker than peak Triple H. Ooh, that's a scorching hot take. Triple H drags out storylines and has uneventful PLEs. I will say, I can actually agree partially with this statement. I feel like I actually think that your first part has a point to it. Your second part kind of negates that. I think that the Triple H drags out storylines part is true, but he does not have uneventful. He does have sometimes. Every booker has sometimes uneventful PLEs. Even Vince did a whole lot more than Triple H. But I feel the where you really made the point here, Dion, is week to week, Vince McMahon at his peak was much better than Triple H. Week to week, Triple H has some storylines that progress, that are at a nice pace. But overall, WWE television is becoming before our eyes very uneventful again. Where you can watch an episode.
Especially this year.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've been feeling that way.
Yeah. It's just very like blah. Like,
yeah, I've been honestly, at least this year, I've been feeling that way. And I'm like, the reason why I really don't talk about it as much is because I don't want to come off like I'm some kind of like hater or some shit. But like this year, and I'm like looking at it, right, with Triple H, I'm just like, yeah, WWE's fine, but I'm like, is he having a better year than he did last year? I don't think he has. Like, if you used to really look at it, I'm just like,
Y'all want a 2024 hot take? Y'all want a 2024 hot take?
Yes, please.
You ready?
Do it. Yep, right here. Pin it in.
Pin it in. December 21st, 2025. SP3 predicts 2024 was the last great creative year of Triple H.
Ooh.
And you want to know a reason why? Guys? It's official. WWE SmackDown is becoming a 3-hour show in 2025.
Terrible.
WWE announced on Friday that SmackDown is moving to a 3-hour show starting on January 3rd. Its first episode of 2025 in January on the USA Network will mean 3 hours. That means that the main roster television for WWE in the year of our Lord 2025,
the year of our Lord,
will be 6 hours
Terrible.
In duration between Raw and SmackDown.
That is
alone.
The most dumbest shit ever. Like, and this is on a Friday night. Who's doing this till 11 o'clock?
A Friday night.
Count me out,
3 hours.
Don't put me in, coach. I can't do it. I'm gonna let you know. I could do 2 hours, but I can't do 5. I mean, I'm 3.
I was like, oh man, they actually did it.
USA really booking something on a Friday night, son. For 3 hours.
I can't believe 3 hours. Like that was like me. Like I was just like, because I think Luke Owen and the fellas over at Wrestle Talk, they do great stuff. They do like prediction videos for like 2025, and he said one of his predictions was 2025 was going to be the last great booking year for Triple H. I honestly think with SmackDown going to 3 hours, with Raw on Netflix, and with the patterns that he's shown at the end of 2024, I don't think it's gonna. Maybe it'll be good. I hope that it'll be good. I don't think it'll be as great and as universally critically acclaimed as it was when he first comes in at 2022, when he throughout 2023, and especially 2024, which was, I feel, his best creative year in the helm, despite all the flaws that we felt and watched before our eyes, and why WWE television is becoming uneventful. But all of those signs really came towards the end of the year. So I think that's not a good sign for next year. I feel like the road to WrestleMania will probably be great again. He seems to get that right. But the rest of the year, I think, is going to be the issue.
And also, we know what it is for me, too. I think that's why they used that cop-out bullshit a couple weeks ago about like, the next like 140 days is the most important time for WWE. Like that some report like about like how WrestleMania season, like that's gonna be like their top thing. But I'm just like, wait, so now you're just using, like, it kind of just felt like a giant excuse of like, hey, our PLEs haven't been that great, and our shows TV, they've been up and down. But hey, WrestleMania season's coming up, so we're gonna focus on that. Like, it just kind of just came off like a cop out, and it was just like, motherfucker, like, you think I'm supposed to like ignore like some of the flaws that I've been seeing a lot? Like, get the fuck out of here with that. So to say, hey, this year might be his peak. I mean, I've been seeing it for a while. Like, honestly, I've been seeing it. I'm just like, yo, like, I'm like, has he? I'm like, when people keep saying, and the reason why I be thinking about this is because like every time something gets reported by AEW, right? If AEW is doing something positive, there's always that one person that wants to dunk on it, right? So like if AEW has a good show, somebody wants to dunk on it. And I noticed this past week where the crowd reaction, like their thing was great. Somebody comes in, oh, I don't care. WWE is hot right now. It's the hottest it's ever been, right? And I'm just like looking at the dude. I'm just like, bro, you could use that line in 2023, but we're talking about December 2024 WWE. I'm like, bro, like it's not as hot as it was last year. Like, and it's okay. Some things don't stay hot. That's okay. It could still be good. We're not saying it's bad by any means. We're not saying the shows are bad or creative is bad. It's just, you know, sometimes some people have a certain peak in their creative and it shows, right? I think
WWE is still hot. I think that's.
I mean, business wise,
I think WWE is still hot. I don't think that the quality is as high as it was during WrestleMania season.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm more at, because obviously the hot thing comes from like Netflix, the moving to Netflix, like all that stuff. Business wise, that's where that comes in. But product wise, I'm like it could be better. It's not. I'm like, it's definitely better than what. Yeah, but and it's one of those things where it's like we could say it's not as good. We're not saying it's terrible, but we're also saying, hey, I thought it was better last year. It's okay, right? I think that's fair to say.
I think this year was better than last year. Mainly because I thought WrestleMania season was better than.
Well, I mean but I mean as in like this point last year, like I thought like the end season was better than this season.
I don't know about that. I mean, we had Payback in Fastlane last fall.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think in retrospect, last year feels hotter to you because Punk just came back.
It could be. I think that could be a part of it. That could play a factor. I can admit that. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just sometimes it's just, I think it's better to have fair discussions on things that we could criticize it. Like, it's okay to say something that's not as good. Like that's, and I think all of us have been very fair with that. Like if there's something that we enjoy, we say it. If there's things we don't enjoy, it's like War Games. We had our hiccups with War Games, but I think we all love the men's War Games. Like we thought like that was a fantastic match. Mm-hmm. And even I said, I'm like, yo, I can't really find any flaws in that match. I enjoyed the shit out of it, but then the women's.
I think your Wi-Fi's taking over.
Yep,
my internet went in and out.
He's in the multiverse again.
Yeah. You're in the multiverse for a little bit there. But we do have a super chat donation here. I wanted to highlight. We got Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries, for the support. He says, "Do you think it matters to Punk whether he headlines night 1 or 2 of WrestleMania?" To answer that question quickly, no, it does not.
No,
CM Punk was the main event of WrestleMania. Who it does matter to? Roman Reigns. It does matter to Roman Reigns. It does matter to Roman Reigns.
It matters what night he does? You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he's the number one guy. If you've been the number one guy for a decade, you've headlined 9 WrestleManias more than anyone in history. Yes, it matters night 1 to night 2. It does matter then.
Okay. But can we also determine, like, if he doesn't do it, like, he got to remember, like, what the card is? Because we could say, oh, yeah, the main event was good, but the whole show was, like, night 1 was trash, but night 2 was good. You know what I'm saying? Like, something like that.
No, I just think like you're closing WrestleMania. You're the real headliner. You can take the claim. You can take the claim that you're the draw for that year's WrestleMania.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, like this is the first year in a while where I don't think the night 2 main event, either guy in the night 2 main event could take credit for being the draw of WrestleMania 40. I think The Rock was the draw of WrestleMania 40, but he wasn't supposed to be the night 2 main event. So either way, like.
Yeah. Okay.
Either way, it's usually that person can take the responsibility of being the biggest star in the company and be the draw for that WrestleMania.
Okay. Got it.
We also got here another super chat donation who's from Vala B, who says that's a bold prediction. I wouldn't call it a take because that's retrospective. It's a prediction. It's not a prediction. It's a spoiler.
Yeah.
There you have it. But no, I just feel like now, and especially nowadays in the current wrestling landscape, most bookers, like back in the day, they used to say most bookers have a shelf life of 5 years. You can have your run as a booker where you're putting out your best work possible. It's like your first 5 years. And then there's some drop off in your quality after that. Nowadays, I think that it's 3 years. You got 3 years to put out your best stuff ever, what your legacy is going to kind of be built on. And then by year 3, year 4, we start to see the weaknesses. We just saw it happen with Tony Khan in 2022 after AEW was created in 2019. And then we've seemingly seen it every year after with 2023 and 2024 for AEW and ROH. And then with Triple H, I think towards the end of 2024, we're starting to see he drags things out that don't need to be dragged out. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, that needed to be dragged out.
Yes.
Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan did not.
Did not. Oh my God. I'm so over those two. Like I'm so over those two.
You gotta learn when the strike when the iron is hot as well.
Yep.
Like, Kevin Owens turning on Cody Rhodes right after he teamed with Roman Reigns at Bad Blood. That's striking while the iron is hot.
Yes.
Whatever the fuck you did with Otis and Chad Gable and Alpha Academy in the summer, that was not. So we see that there is some
we spoke about that
to Triple H's game. No booker in professional wrestling is perfect, but I feel like most bookers have a shelf life of 3 years, and then you start to see what their weaknesses is in that third year into the fourth year, and we're at that point with Triple H.
Yeah, I think part of that too is the amount of content we are getting. Back in the days, you're talking about 80s and 90s, they're doing like one show a week at most. Now we're getting what? When Raw was 3 hours, we're talking about 5 hours between your main shows. Then NXT, you're getting another 2 hours. So you're talking about like 7 hours worth of content you're getting weekly, right, on average. And then on top of that, we're not even implying the PLEs, which that's another 3 hours. So you're talking about there's weeks where there's 10 hours of stuff out there. So part of it too is the amount of hours that we're getting. We're just getting more time. So it kind of that time that you're talking about the shelf life. It's coming quicker because there's just too much. There's a lot of hours that we're getting of that.
It's unfortunate. Like these poor wrestlers, like they don't get no downtime now. Like they win a day off. Like they're working the Christmas right after the Christmas holiday.
Well, I mean, hey, according to Triple H, they have like hey, we could request a vacation, right? Apparently, they have that now in WWE. People could take a vacation they want to. Now it depends on if it gets approved. I'm pretty sure it don't get approved at all.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
But I just want people to understand before you comment and you're like, oh my God, they're bad mouthing WWE when WWE is harder than ever. They're on their way to Netflix. I'm going to go in the WWE network and jerk off to old episodes of Total Divas and all that stuff. Got to understand. What I'm trying to say is that Triple H is not a perfect booker. Triple H, I can see some of the flaws in Triple H's booking as well, but WWE, their hot period, their boom period that they're on now, it has no kind of like, I don't think there has no expiration date. Even though I think that the hot period next year will be the road to WrestleMania, and then we'll see some drop off as far as the quality. I don't think we're going to see any drop off as far as the business. I think they're going to be riding high into 2026, possibly even 2027, because they have created a model with TKO for how this business is going to be run, and it's going up and up and up in that direction on that end of whole side of things. So
yeah, and they're kind of doing like the UFC approach, because the UFC is kind of like that. UFC like last, it was kind of had its hot period, and then this year has been like very stagnant. But because of the way they're promoting and shit, people kind of look over that. So they're kind of doing like that kind of formula. But I think WWE could pull it off a little bit better, because there are things that they could still do. And then also UFC, they kind of don't have a WrestleMania season. So
yeah.
And the only time they kind of have that is like when they're doing like their milestone show, which is not going to happen for another few years. Like their next big milestone show will be like UFC 400, unless they do something like the Spear again, which I don't think they are, because they spent $20 million in to run it alone. They don't have that kind of luxury. WWE each year has that luxury of WrestleMania seasons here. We got the Royal Rumble coming in, and then all that stuff. They got that luxury. So it's yeah, WWE. I mean, they could still. It's one of those things where each year, again, they have WrestleMania to kind of like, I want to say save them, but they have something that have people look forward to every year.
Will Chisholm saying, if Raw goes 3 hours, it's really a wrap for 2025. Why are you even questioning this? Raw's 3 hours. Raw's going back to 3 hours on Netflix.
And honestly, like, I think Raw kind of does need 3 hours. I think Raw, it needs 3 hours. As much as people want to say,
SmackDown does not need 3 hours. Raw
SmackDown does. SmackDown doesn't need 3 hours.
And it's really bad. Now is the 2 hours is like, yo, this show should not be. It feels so rushed. It's not even
on
good.
top of it.
It's
on top
terrible.
of it,
every week.
Terrible.
Every week.
Everything every week is like the countdown to get to like this January 6th is like, oh my God, it's like pull my hair out. Like I'm just like, oh my God, this is like the worst thing. And then once it gets to like 9:45, is like it goes into like speed mode. It's terrible. It's so bad.
They never seem like they have enough time for stuff.
Never.
Yeah. And I think, and also what I kind of like, and I see people talk about it with SmackDown, is that even though it's going 3 hours now, people are in fear that it's going to end up like the old SmackDown, where nobody really wanted to watch it because everything is happening on Raw.
Yeah.
And now with Netflix, everything is basically happening with that. Like they stacked the fuck their show. They're stacked the fuck up. They have fucking Roman versus Solo and Tribal Combat. You got Punk versus Seth. All that is on Raw. What's gonna be for SmackDown?
Nothing.
So, I mean,
it's gonna be the Forgotten Son.
Yeah,
they're usual.
They're also falling in that kind of territory where SmackDown back then, when it was that, Raw was must watch, and then SmackDown was just kind of like, all right, it's a fuller show. Imagine having a 3 hour fuller show. That's kind of disgusting.
We got Nate in the chat. Thanks for joining us today. Nate Melton from the NWA podcast. Go over and check out their holiday episode they did last weekend. I wasn't able to be on there. I got busy with the family, but shout outs to Nate and what they do over there. They do great stuff. Nate says, good morning, fam. Happy holidays. Y'all keep talking mess about Triple H booking, and he fitting to stretch Raw to 4 hours and bring in Terrence from Florida as the new GM. Don't wish that.
Well, I mean, he could. I mean, he could, and then I'll stop watching. That'll be my great excuse to stop watching.
Easier to stop watching. We got Will Chisholm. He says it's gonna be nasty work when NXT goes 3 hours. LOL. Just kidding. Don't wish that upon us. What are you doing?
Well, they don't have the budget to go 3 hours anyway. CW ain't paying them enough for 3 hours.
Nah, CW ain't doing no 3 hours. We got the 10 o'clock. We got the 10 o'clock Pix 11 news. Sorry, sir.
Yep. That's never changing.
They probably laughing at that idea. They're like, we didn't even get Flash 3 hours. You think we're gonna give NXT 3 hours?
Last night we had WWE SmackDown. It was a tape show from last week. The show featured Bianca Belair and Naomi beating Nia Jax and Candice LeRae to retain the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Thanks in large part to Tiffany Stratton causing a distraction again for Nia. Naomi is now officially one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions with Bianca. Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline kicked off the show to address Roman Reigns and their tribal combat match on the WWE Raw premiere on Netflix. However, Drew McIntyre interrupted him and discussed their past together, with Solo being the person who cost him the WWE Championship. McIntyre appreciated Solo standing up to Roman, though, so he wants to handle the OG bloodline while Solo handles his business with Reigns in Tribal Combat, and then he will handle his business with Solo after. Before Solo could agree, we had Jimmy Uso, who came out and attacked Drew with the crutch after his attack last week. Later, we had the Bloodline. They picked up a victory in a pretty decent trios opener against Apollo Crews, Andrade, and LA Knight. Yeah. We also had Johnny Gargano. He beat Alex Shelley with a handful of tights in what was a good match between the former mentor and mentee. And Braun Strowman was the special guest on the Grayson Waller effect and dressed up as Santa Claus.
Looking crazy.
Carmelo Hayes came out. He had a really funny promo talking about how he wasn't ready last week, so he wanted a rematch with Braun Strowman on the show. They faced each other next. And because Braun Strowman tossed Carmelo's small ass back into the ring at the count of 9 and couldn't get his big ass back into the ring, Carmelo Hayes beats Braun Strowman via countout. So getting a measure of redemption after last week.
I'm surprised those True Religion jeans fit him. Because I'm like, one, they come for, I guess they have a big and tall section. 2, he looked like he was his thing was suffering. Sorry.
Wow.
That wasn't right. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize.
And you also had Kevin Owens sent a warning to undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes, Nick Aldis, and WWE management that he hasn't even snapped yet. And anything that happens next is on them. Great promo by KO. The Carmelo made me laugh with his promo, saying he wasn't ready. Gargano and Shelley was a solid match as well, but I literally watched this whole episode in an hour when I got home from
Listen, I was about to say
there was a lot of video packages on this show.
A lot of video, a lot of commercials. You didn't if you missed it, you didn't miss much, so it's okay. So when I was tuning in and I was listening to it from my phone, and I had my headphones in, but I had my phone turned down. Really nothing much. I was like, okay, there's nothing much happening. Okay, great. Thanks. I really didn't miss anything. So the highlights, I read the stuff. SmackDown, done. Merry Christmas.
And Drew McIntyre interacting with the Bloodline.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
But yeah, not much to write home about with SmackDown last night. But there is some to write home about the main program over on Friday Night SmackDown right now, which once again is not Cody Rhodes. It is Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, despite the fact they will be having their big showdown on the Raw on Netflix premiere in the Tribal Combat match, with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa set for Tribal Combat on the January 6th episode. A report by WrestleVotes indicates that WWE is talking about introducing a new title belt for the feud.
Oh my God, I can't.
WWE has reportedly had discussions about using a quote-unquote Tribal Chief Championship in the ongoing
Nope.
In the ongoing feud between Reigns and Sikoa. The report reads, sources indicate WWE has discussed introducing a Tribal Chief Championship into the storyline between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, similar to the People's Championship presented to The Rock at WrestleMania earlier this year. WWE has yet to announce or reveal a unique Tribal Chief Championship. Sikoa currently has possession of the Ulafala, a traditional Samoan necklace that was previously worn by Reigns before the feud began. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa will meet in a Tribal Combat match on the Monday, January 6, 2025 edition of Monday Night Raw. This will be the show's premiere on Netflix, and the event is being held at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California, and will stream live on Netflix. Krssi Love, what do you think about the possibility of a Tribal Chief Championship determining who is the tribal chief.
I think it's stupid, but you know, what do I know? I'm just a simple girl from Brooklyn. Now we're giving out courtesy awards and bullshit. So just give back the Ulafala. Just give me back my necklace that you stole from me. Why do we need a belt? We don't need a belt. Even the belt that The Rock has is dumb, like stupid. And he's gonna keep carrying it around. Like no one cares about that dumb ass belt. I don't even think people are even buying it.
Come on, Muhammad Ali's wife gave him the belt.
Huh?
Muhammad Ali's wife gave him the belt because she said he was the best one. I mean, he wrote it, but she said she was the best one. I can't even keep a straight face with that.
Great stuff. I did think that was the whole purpose of the Tribal Chief Championship. My whole thinking about this whole thing, and the fact that this has even been a discussion, is the fact that WWE wants to profit off of the
Ulafala. Yeah,
and they can't do that without cultural appropriation, and they can't do that without the heat and the backlash for it. So now they have to create a championship.
Got it.
I mean, let's be real here though. Like I would say this as well. The WWE Championship has been prestige as well, but I don't know what's been more prestigious, the WWE Championship or CM Punk's bracelet and the Ulafala.
You know, okay.
What I say? I didn't say nothing. I ain't even say nothing.
You said a whole lot. Like, trying to make money. Even Spider-Man is upset. Look at him peeking through. Like, this is crazy.
I'm just saying.
I know, Miles. They full of shit.
I just watch the show. I examine the show and I say things into a microphone. Sometimes I might upset people. Sometimes I might make people laugh. I just watch the show, and this is what I see. I see accessories, not even clothes. This is not no pants. This is not no socks. Not no sneakers. Not no shirt. Not no man. We ain't even doing. We ain't even doing.
Do they sell an Ulafala on the website? Let me go check.
No, they never. Okay.
They can't do it. They can't do it. They ain't gonna poultry.
And the only reason, because remember when that whole Punk thing happened.
Yeah, they had the bracelet, the damn bracelet. The person that made it for him.
Yeah,
it was like, hell, like, no, you gotta give me some type of money. And then they took that shit off right away.
Yeah. Well, to the girl herself, she never asked for like any compensation, but she did say like she wished that they would have told her, because apparently they reached out to her and they just said, "Oh, thank you for inspiring us for a storyline," but they never like mentioned like we planning to sell it or anything. But at the same time, too, I think they just took advantage of a fan who just doesn't know the business, and I think she should have. It's no fault to her own. Like, I'm not trying to knock her for it. It's just WWE took complete advantage of somebody that they probably knew they could try to get over, but because she had the internet behind her, that's the only reason why they kind of like pivoted on that. Yeah, but it was one of those things where they tried to take advantage of somebody who just wasn't about the money. And they try to make a profit off of it. Somebody like me, they ain't gonna try that bullshit with me, because I would have been like, all right, so what am I getting out of this, bro? Yeah. Like, I want to say they said thank you to me. I've been like, all right, so what am I getting? I'm not gonna even say no problem. It's no, I'm a big fan. I'm like, nah, what am I getting? Because I don't give a fuck at that point. It's like, you using something that I did, using it for your programming. I ain't getting shit. So what the fuck am I getting for it? I better be fucking compensated for that shit.
You heard him. But yeah, it's very interesting. That's all I can say for now. We'll see what happens with that, and if more discussion goes down.
I mean, it's a stupid fucking idea. I mean, I get it. They're trying to do maybe merch. Like, I do agree with Sid on that. They're probably trying to do like merch off of it, and then you got all these fucking dorks who will buy the belt. Probably starts like $700 and buy all the and buy it.
So those things are expensive. They're not cheap.
Yeah, they're like $700.
Yeah,
like those exclusive belts, they're not cheap. And these Yeah, and these dorks still buy it, which is kind of crazy to me. Like, you buy a $700 belt, but you can't buy $5 deodorant when you go to these conventions.
You know what? Okay.
God damn it. We got Will Chatham who says, so Naomi attacked Jade, right? It seems like Naomi is
another
the
thing that they haven't
candidate.
pulled the trigger on. Like, let's just.
It just started, Krssi. They just started the whole mystery.
It's still. Tell me I'm lying. You laugh because it's true.
No, I'm laughing because you're not even giving it a chance.
I kind of don't blame Krssi.
Well,
I mean, I don't hate it.
I guess I'm alone. I guess I'm
I don't hate it.
Don't
Like,
hate
don't get me
it.
wrong.
I just said it's just let's just like when we gonna
Yeah,
get this February because they're gonna like.
Yeah, she's gonna reveal it right before WrestleMania season so she could get her match.
Oh my god, I can't.
Bianca versus Naomi, night one.
Speaking of WrestleMania season, one of the big names that is expected to be back in time for WrestleMania 41 is Charlotte Flair. PW Insider reports the return of Charlotte Flair to WWE is imminent, as she has been preparing to come back to television. In a post on Twitter, Flair thanked NXT's Lainey Reed for helping her get ready. She wrote, "Thank you at Lainey_WWE for the last few weeks. Keep an eye on this one." Flair has been at WWE headquarters for a photo shoot and everything else she needs to do before she returns to WWE television. She has been out of action since last December, where she tore her ACL, MCL, and meniscus.
Crazy.
Charlotte Flair looks like she's on her way back. I don't know if that's going to be Raw on Netflix. If she's not going to be on Raw, have her debut on that January 3rd SmackDown, the 3-hour premiere. You're going to need some big stuff.
Oh wait, so this is hold on. The 3 hours start effectively in January?
Yeah, January 3rd.
Yeah, the SmackDown before that.
I can't do that. I don't. I can't. Oh my god. What is happening? Oh my god. I'm like, how did we get here? Okay. Woosa.
It's gonna be all right, Krssi. We got you. We got you, sis. We got you. But yes, that's what it is.
Oh my god,
that's what it is. Just watch the clips. Watch the clips on YouTube. If anything. But yeah, we got Sifet who says, my guess is Bianca or Naomi that attacked Jade.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad at the Bianca portion of the whole scenario. Like, I got tired of babysitting your ass. So, this is what happened.
I kind of like that scenario more than the Naomi one.
Yeah, it makes more. I think because I don't see Naomi as a heel. Like, I don't get heel-ish from her. Bianca, I can see more of the heel than. I think I might make the little babies cry, though. Damn, I don't know.
Hey, we're gonna see how that all turns out. Cyclops is better.
Or maybe
than
like
Wolverine.
Charlotte. Maybe Charlotte was the one.
Says, I miss Charlotte so much. The division needs her. I think that Bianca doesn't make a whole lot of sense though, because she literally cost herself the United States Championship by attacking Jade and then acting like it wasn't you who did it. That would like story wise, that would be probably the stupidest of the option.
To make it be Bianca?
Yeah. Even though I know that's what everybody wants because it will lead to the inevitable matchup that a lot of people want to see, but it would not make sense in the story that they told.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that they told us when. Okay, yeah, got it. Yeah,
because they literally showed Jade being attacked while she's in a triple threat in the Women's United States Championship match tournament. So she literally left the matchup to go check on Jade, and you were the one that attacked her. So you just cost yourself the title for no reason.
That's true. You're right. You're right.
I mean, honestly, that does sound very WWE. That sounds like something they would do.
It sounds like something Triple H would book because he's definitely been booked in that before.
It's like, okay, Roman, I planned this all along. And I'm like, you planned to lose all along, and you did that? Okay, like,
all right, sure.
You sure showed me.
The Atlantic had a new bombshell report this week, and this is a long one. WWE current executive producer Lee Fitting, who was allegedly dismissed from ESPN due to allegations of misconduct toward women. Fitting worked for ESPN for over 25 years until his exit in August of 2023. He was subsequently hired by WWE in January. His ESPN work includes producing College Game Day, and he was rumored to be up for head of programming. The report notes that a complaint was filed against Fitting last year with Human Resources, which led to ESPN talking with several employees that included, quote-unquote, some prominent female staffers. It was noted that women who work for College Game Day or with Fitting in general felt pressured to go out for drinks and deal with his comments. They were worried if they didn't present as members of the boys club, they would be left out. Fitting would also say, it's okay, she's one of the guys, to justify why his comments were okay. When one female employee left, Fitting reportedly said she was, quote unquote, no fun. He also told women how to fix their hair, how much makeup to wear, what to wear, and more. He also told them to hide parts of their body if he didn't like it. One woman said that he told her to put your hair up in a ponytail before I do it for you.
I know you lying.
Another said that she was told not to laugh on air because her laugh was annoying. Fitting was let go after an investigation. One of the women questioned said that things, quote unquote, finally caught up to him. Fitting, through a spokesperson, denied some of the allegations and didn't address others. A WWE spokesperson said the company had no comment. I bet you don't. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that one person in the company told them that they were at least aware of some of the Fitting's issues as there were public knowledge. The company hired him anyway. The source said, this is the baggage, the publicity that comes with this hire. God damn, what a fucking shit show this is.
Yep.
Another added that Fitting was no different from Vince McMahon or John Laurinaitis. You fucking got rid of two creeps to hire one? This company will never change. Never change. Literally, I never want WWE to change because then this show would not be as entertaining.
Right.
Fitting's work in WWE has been highly praised, and there's nothing that suggests that the company sees this as anything more than a story that will, quote unquote, come and go. This is not the first time WWE has hired someone while knowing they had allegations against them. Former Executive Vice President of Development and Digital, Jamie Hosworth, was hired even though he was fired by Fox Sports after a sexual harassment investigation. Hosworth was let go in 2023 after the UFC WWE merger. So whenever you ever think of defending this company and being mad at someone because they don't feel the same thing about this company that you do, you remember this company's hiring practices. And the fact that this is not the first time they had someone with sexual harassment allegations from another place be hired here without any much of a word, it seems, or just said, oh, I know, we knew about that. No big deal. What the fuck?
Whew, Lord, I just don't you do background checks? Don't the jobs I've went to, they've done background checks. They've they look at to see where you came from just to make sure that you're not a nut job or you're credible to do this service. How did this happen? How, Sway?
We've been nothing but complimentary of Lee Fitting. He's been a revelation. Oh, he's been doing the one-shot camera view. Oh my god, the production is so great. And then we find out he's not that much different from Kevin Dunn. Anyway.
You know what?
He's just a better producer. He's not a better person. Any thoughts, Josh?
Just WWEing again.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds about
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Not much we could say there.
Yeah.
Of that.
Well, yeah. When I saw the report, I think there's a lot of truth to it, because again, right, when it comes to stuff like this, I don't like when you have like more than one person talk about it, and people who are not as connected with each other, and then they're giving the same story, probably tells you there's something going on. And I think there's too much when it comes to this, man. There's way too much smoke for it to not be true. There's a reason why they let it go, and things are coming to light. Is WWE gonna do something about it? So far they haven't. And it's again, it's probably one of those things where it's probably gonna get looked over because the state of WWE, Triple H wanted to. We got to pay attention to the positives. So they're not going to look at the
we don't want to talk about that.
When I saw people like defend it, I was just like, what? Like, people are trying to like discredit women and like their allegations and all this stuff. Every time something like this comes out, the reason why it's kind of like I kind of cringe when it comes to the reaction is because like you kind of see, to me at least, you kind of see like the men especially. You kind of see how they really are when it comes to stuff like this. And it's kind of, it's just gross to see, because it's just like, someday, hey, you might have a daughter and something might happen, God forbid. And
they don't think that way. That's the problem. And he has daughters too. That's the sad part.
I just want wrestling fans to stop popping ass for the wrestling promotion that they like. Stop popping ass. If you gotta lose your morals, if you gotta have questionable tactics or questionable decision making or questionable opinions just to defend a promotion that you like, that never is gonna pay you, that doesn't give a fuck about you. If you die tomorrow, they wouldn't even buy your mother dirt to put on top of you.
No, SP. Oh my.
Let's stop.
Oh my.
Stop
he ain't lying. He ain't lying.
He's not. No, he's not. That's why I was like, oh my,
weird.
he's going there. He's going.
It is weird.
Weird.
It's like, yo.
Especially when the company you're doing it for is doing stuff like this. And we got some shit with AEW with a lawsuit. That's why I said wrestling promotion. I'm not just specifying WWE. Stop popping ass for AEW. Stop popping ass for WWE. Y'all are the biggest examples of that. Because literally, TNA know better not to pop ass for themselves because they got fucking mass exodus going on. New Japan fans don't know what popping ass means. CMLL and AAA fans are just worried about getting guns to shoot at each other, so they ain't worried about popping ass for the company. So it's just y'all two. It's just y'all WWE fans and AEW fans.
Man, like the reason why I'm saying like you get back though is because like I did a Q&A on my Instagram, and one of the questions I got asked, right? I got asked like, what are things that WWE does better than AEW and vice versa? That was one of the questions I got asked, right? And I said, presentation, WWE is greater. Promoting, marketing, WWE is greater. When ring quality, I said AEW is better. And I think some of them got upset when I said that the AEW pay-per-views are better than the PLEs. Like, the fucking outrage I had on that. People were just like, what? Like, are you fucking crazy? Are you fucking stupid? And I was just like, no. And I think they got more upset when I was just like, so? No, like, I'm not crazy because I know what I'm talking about. I didn't pay too much mind to it because it was just more funny. Yeah, like, they defend shit, but then it's like they just kind of don't look at logic. But when it comes to a situation like this, I mean, there's an allegation after you're already in a lawsuit with a woman, talked about all these things of sex trafficking and her, sexual assault and all this stuff, and then you hire somebody like this. I'm just like,
This is when you're supposed to do your extra due diligence. Even if, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's worse. That's why I even like put out the option of they didn't know. Because I know,
Nah,
I think we're all aware they did know. But they are better off saying they did not know. That's what I'm trying to say. They're better off saying they did not know. With everything else going on in WWE, they were better off saying, "Oh, we didn't know. It slipped through the cracks." But there we go. We got Vala B who says, I don't get loyalty in an entertainment product. Yeah, I get it. And we also got Nate Milton who says, Sid said, when I hear you talk about your favorite promotion, I feel you don't like wrestling, just love tribalism. I think you want to pop ass with him. I try to say that in my best Kendrick Lamar voice. We also got Chillin' with Chase who says, for ESPN to fire you for this, you should know the situation is bad. Look at all the freaks that company has. Exactly. Exactly.
ESPN had a lot of them.
Yeah, indeed. WWE Raw this week, the show featured the War Raiders defeating the Judgment Day's Finn Balor and JD McDonough in a good main event to win the World Tag Team Championships. Braun Breaker beat Ludwig Kaiser in a good match to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Zoe Stark moved on in the Women's Intercontinental title tournament with a win over Raquel Rodriguez and Kaden Carter. CM Punk kicked off the show to address Seth Rollins, who interrupted him. This time from the crowd, the two men traded barbs on the microphone until they started to brawl in the crowd and at ringside before security and officials separated the two. This led to Seth demanding a match with Punk to Adam Pearce, only for Drew McIntyre to try and recruit Rollins to his cause of taking down the OG Bloodline. Seth refused, and later in the show, Sami Zayn attacked Drew when it looked like McIntyre was about to try to attack Rollins. Adam Pearce then later made the announcement, it is official, the main event of the January 6th Netflix premiere of WWE Raw will be CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins. Any quick thoughts before we get into the news from Raw, Josh, on this past Monday show?
Raw was okay. I thought it was better than way better than SmackDown for sure. I kind of did like the exchange better with Punk and Seth. I thought Seth was great. And I know for a fact he's been watching the podcast because he did call him Phil.
Musty ass Phil. He should, if he said musty ass Phil, then we know he's watching.
I was like, this motherfucker stole my shit. Oh, I would have went off. That
would have been great. But we had Wednesday some more developments from Monday Night Raw as they did the Netflix kickoff show at WWE headquarters. A number of WWE superstars appeared to hype the upcoming Netflix debut, including former United States champion Logan Paul. During the kickoff, WWE Raw General Manager Adam Pearce announced Logan Paul as the newest member of Monday Night Raw roster. It looks like Paul's recent claims of retirement went for about a week, and we're little more than hot air. Paul said that the fans are looking at the future WWE World Champion. He said, and I quote, Logan Paul stated during the appearance, "If you have something that I want, I'm going to take it. I am not going to be asking permission. I am going to take it from you." And I know some of y'all in the crowd, some of you at home are saying, oh, Logan Paul's a bully. I see this narrative online. I can see it in your faces right now. Y'all look like cowards. Logan Paul's a bully? Yeah, I am a bully. And the WWE is my playground. He continued, so look, I'm not here to take part. I'm here to take over. Your approval means nothing to me. Whether you love me, whether you hate me, I don't care because you're still watching and you will stay watching because you are a spectator and I am a star. Paul also promised that he will win the world championship, stating, I promise everyone in the crowd right now, everyone watching at home, you are looking at the future WWE world champion and his name is Logan Paul. Logan Paul last wrestled at WWE SummerSlam 2024 in August, losing the United States Championship to LA Knight. What do you think about Logan Paul on Monday Night Raw, and what feud are you looking forward to with Logan Paul versus someone from the Raw roster? Yes. Oh, I was about to say, are you frozen? Thought you were frozen.
Who, me?
Yeah, but you're good. You're good. Who are you looking forward to Logan Paul feuding with?
I'm just gonna be honest. I look forward to Logan Paul versus CoffeeZilla in court because I don't care what he does on Raw.
The fact that you weren't the first person to say this says a lot. We got Frantic Rose. He says, F Logan Paul. He should have stayed home.
I mean, I didn't believe his I didn't believe his fake retirement bullshit. Honestly, if you fell for that shit, then you probably fell for his CryptoZoo scam too. That's how I the fact that anybody fell for that, that's insane. As far as feuds, he is a good performer in the ring. I can't take that away no matter what. I think him and Gunther would be pretty fun. I think that would be pretty fun. And then, Gunther could talk his shit. At the same time, the only thing that kind of sucks with these kind of feuds with Logan Paul is that the real shit you really want to say, you can't say on TV, or because, Logan Paul is a very sensitive guy.
Is he?
He's very sensitive. There's a reason why he's suing CoffeeZilla. He's very sensitive. He tries to censor people all the time. He's one of the most sensitive motherfuckers I know.
Really?
So even if he was to try to use a feud with him, try to use real life stuff, he's gonna take some offense to it. And that's why they haven't done it. They haven't pushed the lines with that because of it.
Okay.
But I think him and Gunther could have a nice little match, little feud, whatever you
I
want
want
to
Gunther to kick his ass. Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun to chop the shit out of him.
Yep.
But if we're talking about
like taco meat.
Yeah. If we're talking about on WWE terms, I think Gunther would be kind of nice. If he thinks he's winning the world championship, he out of his mind. I'll buy that house, that penthouse that Jericho got in Spanish Harlem before anything. I don't believe that.
He got a penthouse in Spanish Harlem? Huh?
You didn't see the segment from Dynamite this week?
No, I didn't get to see everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jericho did a King of New York segment where he was talking about going around New York. He said he went to Rockefeller Center. He went to the Brownstones in Tribeca. No actual Brownstones in Tribeca.
Oh, there's no Brownstones in Tribeca.
He said he went from the Brownstones of Tribeca to the penthouses of Spanish Harlem.
Yo, that was mad. Yo, I was like, this motherfucker just made mad. Shut up. Yo, he said the urine covered streets of Queens.
I would say, is he being a troll? Like, is this supposed to be funny? Okay,
yes,
it's supposed to be funny.
Yes,
okay, got it.
It was hilarious. Best Jericho segment of the year. But let's move on to the other big note from the Raw Netflix kickoff at WWE headquarters. WWE General Manager Adam Pearce announced that WWE Women's World Champion Liv Morgan will defend her title against the former champion Rhea Ripley
again?
on the upcoming January 6th Netflix debut of Raw. Morgan and Ripley were both in attendance at WWE HQ. Ripley declared to Morgan, "The only reason you have that title is because I wasn't here. You're just not as good as Rhea Bloody Ripley. I beat you at Bash in Berlin. I beat you at War Games. And you best believe, sweetheart, I will beat you January 6th on Netflix. Please, and thank you. Can we just be done with Liv and Rhea for a year and a half after this, please?
Or done completely.
Forever. Yeah, forever
would
be the best.
I don't need to see it again. I really don't.
They just dragged it out way too long. We were enjoying this. The road up to SummerSlam was great, and then they just. We got Vala B. He says, "I love KO for saying moveset." Yes, Punk was not pleased with Hangman saying that Logan Paul stole his moveset. He says, pro wrestlers shouldn't be using that term.
Rent free.
Yep.
Such babies.
Yep, pretty much. If you thought Big E or in the recent New Day angle meant that he was returning to the ring very soon, that is not likely the case. During an interview with the Mike Broomhead show, Big E confirmed that he has still not been cleared to return to the ring.
Yeah, that's crazy.
E has been out of action since March of 2022 when he suffered a broken neck after a suplex from Ridge Holland. He said, I broke my neck 2.5 years ago in 3 places, including my C1 in 2 places. I still haven't been cleared. Thankfully, I feel great and don't have any issues, nothing like that. Didn't need surgery. I was in a hard collar for 3 months. There are very real risks. We had a suplex that went wrong, and I've been out since. I'm grateful to have no issues, no pain, nothing like that. So happy that he's living with no pain, but I think all of us wrestling fans want to see Big E back into the ring.
Yep.
Same.
Hopefully we
more so redemption, you know. Like I'd rather him finish his terms or any other wrestler to finish their terms on their own way than to be forced out like the way that he's been.
Yeah.
But if he never wrestles again, I'm just glad that he's very content with that. Because I think he's at a place where he's like, I can't wrestle again. I can't. At least he's grateful for the opportunities he's still getting. So on a real note, if it doesn't happen, as long as he's healthy, he's happy. That's all that matters to me.
Definitely. We got on NXT this week. They were out of the Performance Center. They were in Lowell, Massachusetts. The show featured Trick Williams versus Eddie Thorpe, but that matchup for the NXT Championship ended in a double pinfall after Trick hit the trick shot knee and landed on top of Thorpe with his shoulders down as well. 2 referees counted the 1, 2, 3, which led to a controversial end to the show and the match. Obafemi beat Axiom in a very good opener to the show. Later in the show, Axiom had to do double duty, similar to Nathan Frazier from NXT Deadline. Fraxium defeated Gallus in an awesome match to retain the NXT Tag Team Championships. And in the best angle on the show, Ethan Page cut a Lost His Smile promo in the same building as his boss, Shawn Michaels, cut the original Lost His Smile promo almost, 27 years ago? In 1997, this led to Javon Evans coming out to interrupt and give him a pep talk about not giving up and showing the people the real Ethan Page. Page responded by saying he shouldn't be losing his smile. He should be taking his. He attacked Javon Evans, ending the attack with a brutal stomp on a steel chair, pilmanizing his mouth with Javon spitting out blood and apparently teeth being seen in the ring in this dramatic angle to close the show, which has really reheated up Ethan Page after losing the NXT Championship. So great job on the angle on NXT this week. Only bit of news from NXT this week, 2 bits. You had WWE NXT creative team member Jim Smallman has announced that he's exiting the company. Smallman, who was a senior writer and producer in NXT, posted to Instagram to announce that he has resigned from his position so he can move back to the UK and be with his family. Aww. Speaking of Jim Smallman, he was the former owner of Progress. In an interview with the A to the K wrestling show, Progress owner Lee McAteary was asked about the possibility of the promotion becoming part of the WWE ID program. He answered, well, the reality is we have a great relationship still with WWE. We still continue to talk to them on a fairly regular basis. Sorry to be kind of a cloak and dagger type answer to it, but let's see where the conversations go to. Of course, we've got Mako, who's going to be coming on to our show in February. Obviously, a former Progress champion, obviously part of WWE. So, of course, I suppose, if nothing else, that shows you the kind of relationship that we have. And, I guess the main thing for us from a progress or Defy perspective is we want to work with everybody. If something's good for business, if something's good for the fans, then we want to be all over it.
Yeah.
So good thinking from him for sure. And I think that Progress will probably be like the first UK based wrestling promotion that becomes WWE ID certified. It's just enough of them because the UK scene is hotter than it's ever been, really. Coming off of WWE raping them back in the 2010s. But anyway. Moving on over to AEW this week. AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash was this week. The show did back over 600,000 viewers for this week's show, up from the past 2 weeks. The show featured one of the best matches of the entire year, as Darby Allin pulled off arguably an upset in the Gold League, defeating Will Ospreay in an absolutely sensational encounter to earn 3.6 points overall in the Gold League of the AEW Continental Classic. Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter rated the match 5 stars, the first ever Continental Classic match to receive the full 5 stars. Elsewhere in the tournament, you also had Shelton Benjamin beat the Beast Mortos in a very good match in the Blue League. He also got into it with Daniel Garcia and Mark Briscoe in the post-match, with the Hurt Syndicate standing tall, Shelton holding up the TNT Championship. Prior to that whole Shelton's matchup, they came out to interrupt Ricochet, who had an in-ring promo. After Ricochet attempted to kiss their ass, MVP ripped up the business card that he gave Ricochet as Lashley hemmed up the young man. Later in the show, Ricochet explained that he didn't understand what that was all about before Swerve Strickland interrupted. That got a big pop from the fans. In a tense exchange between the two former friends, Swerve accused Ricochet of always being a follower and even called Ricochet by his real name of Trevor. But Ricochet got the last laugh, literally, by saying that he was going to win the C2, unlike Strickland did last year. Mercedes Moné defeated Anna Jay in a very good match to retain the TBS championship. FTR announced that they will be cleared to compete following an attack from the Death Riders on January 1st at Fight for the Fallen, and they want the Death Riders in the main event, but they won't be coming alone. Meanwhile, AEW aired a vignette to hype the return of Kenny Bagad Omega. Christian Cage and Nick Wayne of the Patriarchy beat Hook and Katsuyori Shibata, and the Death Riders defeated Orange Cassidy, Jay White, and Hangman Adam Page in a very good trios main event after Jon Moxley pinned OC while Hangman and Switchblade argued. The Death Riders surrounded the ring post-match, but the babyfaces got the better of them, standing tall in the end to close the show. And you also had Tony Storm with some Tony time, teaching RJ City that she has no idea who Timeless Tony Storm is and has no idea about her past in AEW.
Great Tony Storm stuff. She can't figure it out.
Really good episode. I thought this was probably the best episode of Dynamite in a few months. Like, you had a match of the year candidate in Darby and Ospreay. A lot of the show was focused on promoting what's next, whether it be the Continental Classic, the World's End, Christmas Collision, Dynamite next week. Wrestle Dynasty got some build on this show. A World's End got some build on this show. This did a really good job of building stuff for the future for AEW on Wednesday. Krssi, what did you think?
A great show. Again, you had a small crowd, much better. You hear them more. They weren't bored. Like the show flowed very well. I loved it. The opener was really good with Anna Jay and Mercedes. The match, it was a good, like you said, it was an overall good show. Like the card was stacked. Besides Ricochet being a cornball, everything was great.
Hey, Ricochet is the greatest cornball. This is the character. This is the character he needed. This is finally the
that's
character.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's on purpose. Like it's great. Like it shows like he can't really talk, so I'm gonna play that to my ability and be stupid.
He's a marvelous dweeb.
Right there, you go. That can't dress, but it's good. Good stuff. I love it. I'm here for it. He's like the kid that get hemmed up at school by the bullies.
Yes. I just loved him fucking discovering Jadakiss in 2024 and just doing his laugh over and over. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing he's ever done.
But I think he's doing it on like freely, like they like free range. Like, do what do you think is best? Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be so stupid. It's gonna be so fun, and everyone's gonna eat it up. I think it's so good.
Josh, any thoughts on the holiday bash from Wednesday?
Another good week for them. I think the last 3 episodes have been really good. They having kind of a nice little run. Ever since they kind of went with like, hey, let's start doing smaller buildings, smaller crowds. You're starting to see the effects of that. And like, this past week, there was a lot of praise for that when they were showing the crowd and how loud they were and where they were at. There's a lot of people who are actually like, they were actually speaking positive of AEW. I was like, it was a little weird to see, to be honest. But overall, I mean, it was a good show. So fun matches. Ospreay and Darby, like I knew they were going to kill it, but damn, I didn't know it was going to be. I didn't know it was going to be like that. So I mean,
people were upset about the whole like choreographed part of it all, but that's the type of wrestlers that they are, though.
It wasn't even choreographed. It was more of a Darby match than an Ospreay match.
It was.
Yeah, it was more Darby.
Like Ospreay versus Ricochet. That's a choreographed match. This was just great timing on both guys' part.
Yeah. Like, I felt like they leaned more with Darby's style than anything in this match, and it worked.
I'm happy that they put him over too. Like
Yeah, I do believe. I thought the right person did win.
Because
when he won,
let's be honest, he doesn't need this.
But then also he doesn't need it. But at the same time, with the C2, you need these surprise wins. And I think
it also makes things very interesting going into the final 2.
Yeah,
right. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Because we have a 4-way tie going into tonight's position.
And I think Gold, right? The Gold League has a 4-way tie, right?
So I mean, in New York tonight. Is that next week?
It's in the Hammerstein tonight.
It's tonight. Okay, so tonight. So it's
everything
started this week.
Like it's made for like it's made for like good television, regardless of what people want to say. I've always liked so far. I mean, there's only been 2, but I've actually liked the format of like the Continental Classic. So I mean, all the guys have been killing it so far. I've been liking the results and how they've been pulling it off. I know a lot of people weren't happy that Commander got added, but then I kind of saw like, yeah, he was a fall guy, and he's been the fall guy because he got 0 points. So I knew he was gonna be the fall guy. So it is what it. Somebody needs to be the fall for each, and then we had a Commander and Beast Mortos. They're gonna put on great matches, but they're not gonna win. So that's just that's just they're doing their part in that.
I think Commander's not winning a match, and Beast Morto is gonna probably win tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the shit with Ricochet, when we had Jay Kwan like, what the fuck is Ricochet doing, yo? He's being horrible. But I was like, that's Ricochet. I think it's working. I think it's working. I was like, he's being cringe as fuck, but at the same time, it's working. Why? Because he's been cringe as fuck on Twitter. So he's doing what he's been doing on Twitter on TV now. So it's working. And if people are complaining about it, that's basically what he wants, because people are complaining about it. And every time he responded to somebody, people are just like, Ricochet, why are you responding to people? You don't need to do this. He was doing it anyway. He don't give a fuck. And then the laugh. Oh, the laugh is fucking ridiculous. Don't get me wrong.
I think the laugh puts everything on over the top. I think it just puts the nail in, and it seals it.
especially when he did it last week, because he did it last week, and I think it kind of went under the radar. But this week it got more.
Oh no,
notice.
I called it out last week. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, he did that, and then he also did the shit when Brody King powerbombs him on the apron during their matchup. He did the fucking squeal like he was Marlon Wayans in the Wayans brothers. Whenever Marlon would run away from Sean, like. And then when Brody puts him in the chair for the crossbody against the barricade, he gets hit with the crossbody and he sells it like he's Pops getting hit with something like he fell down. I was like, yo, he's killing it. It's going under the radar. People want to people are still complaining that he showed no personality when he first got here, or that he was nothing different from what he was in WWE. And now he's showing that he's a whole different character from what he was in WWE. And they're still complaining. Those are the people you don't listen to.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and Ricochet, this is something that Ricochet needs, regardless of what people want to say. This is kind of what Ricochet needs, because, like we said, he's never had a character. And then even like when he did speak, they did kind of harbor on that. Like people would call out, like, we know you're not strong on the mic. And we've seen that several times. So people kind of pointed that out on TV. Like Carmelo Hayes, at one time on NXT, he did say that, like, oh, you have the mic on your hand. Like he said, he made like some kind of like joke where I was like, damn, bro, he just buried you in like 3 seconds before you even said the word. So I mean, again, he's supposed to be cringe, and if it's working, he's doing his job.
He's doing his job, yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of what he needs. And I like it. I was like, if we're getting like a version of Ricochet being heelish and just being a fucking dork, it works out.
Yep.
It does. It's working for him. That's what matters, and that's why I gave him MVP this week for Dynamite.
You know what? I'm not mad at that at all. That's actually really good. Yeah, give him MVP.
He entertained me. I like to see when people learn from like their missteps. Yeah, a misstep. Like it is very similar. Like we might look at this whole run for Ricochet be discovering this character the same way we view Christian and how Christian turned around his AEW run. That's true. By becoming becoming the hater of dead fathers. Like we might look at it. You never know. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but making that character change is very key to making the smooth transition.
Yeah, there's a possibility that he went that route too, because I know in some of his interviews he was kind of doing that. He was kind of leaning into like what he's doing now. He was kind of leaning into that. Especially like when they asked him about Samantha and how he feels about the fans giving her hate, he was just like, yeah, fans are blaming me for her leaving. Like, like, oh yeah, because I told her to stay home and cook and clean the house. I told her to do all that for whatever reason. Like he was doing that already, but now you've seen it on TV, and I'm like, it's working for him.
It is. It definitely is. But we got to talk about some big news in regards to the world of AEW this week, as 2 major returns have been reported on over the past 7 days. Fightful Select had an update on the upcoming AEW return of former AEW World Champion Kenny "by God" Omega. As noted, AEW teased the return of the former world champion on Dynamite this week. Additionally, Omega will be making his in-ring return against Gabe Kidd at Wrestle Dynasty at the Tokyo Dome on January 5th, 2025. Yay. According to Fightful's report, Omega making his return first in NJPW to set up a match with Gabe Kidd at Wrestle Dynasty was done with Tony Khan's blessing. The move was said to be viewed as a goodwill gesture towards AEW's relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Also, Fightful notes that while there was some discussion internally about having Omega's return last month at Full Gear, that was reportedly never a firm plan. But there was reported talk about Omega appearing in AEW first before going back to Japan. AEW sources reportedly told Fightful that Omega's AEW TV return is expected to be happening by World's End, which is on Saturday, December 28th, so a week from today. However, the capacity for which Omega might return at the show is currently unknown. Kenny Omega will make his official in-ring return for the first time since December of last year on Sunday, January 5th, 2025 at Wrestle Dynasty, when he goes one-on-one with the current NJPW Strong Openweight Champion Gabe Kidd. The co-promotional event will feature the stars of New Japan, AEW, CMLL, Ring of Honor, and World Wonder Ring Stardom in action at the event, and it will be broadcast live on pay-per-view and NJPWWorld.com. Miss Krssi Love, how much are you excited for Kenny Omega's return to AEW? 0 to 100, and what do you think? What do you think is like the key to Kenny Omega? What does he bring to AEW that other top stars don't?
0 to 100, definitely 95 for sure. But he brings like one of the original like stars that started this whole promotion. Like he will bring the eyes back on why people started watching this promotion in the first place. He's one of the key people of how this whole thing got started. You know, I'm not saying that they need it, but it's definitely missed. It's a key component to like you have your players that are there, but I think this is the player. You got like he's the Michael Jordan, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he is for all intents and purposes.
Right. So he's like it's the Chicago Bulls, and they need Michael Jordan back from being sick. You know.
Josh, what about you? Who do you want to see dream match wise for Kenny Omega in AEW upon his return? Someone new he could face off with.
Someone new he could face off of? That's interesting. Somebody in the chat wrote
Jack Perry. Fire driver finisher also put Big Boom AJ and the Learning Tree.
I mean, are you trying to kill Big Boom AJ?
Yes.
Like, I don't know. I don't want that for that guy, man. He's been doing great stuff.
He's gonna hit him with the V trigger, and a whole bunch of double chocolate chip chunk cookies are gonna fall out of him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Has Omega faced Darby? Like, has he faced him? I don't remember if he's had faced him or not.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be fun.
I love that.
That would be a fun matchup. Me personally, it's not a dream match. I know you said somebody new. Somebody new, I would say Darby Allin. But to me, this is a match you got to do at All In. I think SP3 knows where I'm going with this. You got to do Omega versus Okada at All In. You got to do it there.
Yeah, definitely. They got to do it in 2025. Do it in the stadium. Yeah, if you're gonna do it first time in the US. As far as someone new, there's one name that I've been thinking about ever since he rose to the top of AEW. And he rose to the top of AEW seemingly when Omega was going out. Swerve Strickland. Strickland and Omega is a dream match.
That'd be
I
fun
like that
too.
one, SD. I want to see that one. More than Darby. I want to see Swerve. Swerve is ready for that. Swerve will rise to that occasion. Are you kidding me? He's done already Hangman. He's done who else has he done? He's done Ospreay. Like, yeah, that's the third one. That'll seal his wrestling like. That'll seal it right there. That one. That match.
Frantic World saying Kenny versus Hurt Syndicate. You got trying to kill this guy. We also got Alex Powell who says Omega versus
what do you mean, like 3 against 1? Like, what do you mean, 3 against 1? Or like
that's what I said. I said you're trying to kill him. Trying to kill him right now. Omega versus Copeland is one I want to see too. They need to do that at like a Canadian pay-per-view. Like Toronto.
There's like some good there's some good matchups you could put with Kenny, man. And I do agree with Chris. Like, there's a lot you're missing with Kenny, and it's been showing. Like, the last best rating was when Kenny Omega just did an appearance. Like, that was their last best.
I was literally looking at Dynamite's ratings for the year, and I was like, oh man, Kenny Omega. He popped that rating after they rolled the tape. After they rolled the tape, he's popped that rating. That's how good Kenny got Omega.
He's great because he's like, he brings everything. Mic skills, ring work, obviously top notch. One of the greatest on the planet. He's been fairly fucking missed. I'm like, damn, Kenny. I'm like, come back, please, Kenny. Please come back.
Come back.
What?
5-star match right here. 5-star match right here. Harley Cameron versus Omega.
You know what?
Yo, Harley Cameron. Can I talk about how much I love Harley Cameron? She's like my favorite.
I think I know where you're going with this.
She's like Kelsey Green. You cannot help but like the obnoxious foolishness.
Well, it's not only that.
Oh my God. The Rampage promo last night was hilarious. Hilarious. Penelope Ford comes up to her, is like, yeah, so now we know her Harley's story in AEW is the fact that she still has not won a singles match in her AEW career. So Penelope Ford came up to her and was like, I've been losing as of late too. So, how about this? How about we watch each other's back? She's like, what? Wait, what? What do I have on my back? What do you have to watch on my back? What? She's like, Penelope's like, you know what? Just think about it. Walks away. Renee's just standing there like there's nothing on your back. Wait, there is. And she's like, wait, what? And then during last night, Ring of Honor Final Battle, she's versing Hanako. So in Ring of Honor is different from AEW. AEW does count out is a 10 count. In ROH, it's a 20 count. Right. So she throws Hanako outside. She goes back into the ring at like the count of 8 or 9. The referee gets to 10 and she's like, and he goes to 11, 12. She's like, wait, I won! And she didn't realize it's a 20 count in Ring of Honor.
Yeah. One of the things I think people are like, it's crazy too. A lot of people would not. She's like super like talented and other things. I was just like, huh? She's good in singing.
Got her over a lot this week.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that. I was like, wait, what? Like she does that too. I was like, yo, what? I was like, what can she do? I was like, what the fuck? I saw that and I was like really impressed. I was like, what am I looking at? And then she does singing. She even did that rapping a couple years ago. Like she did that rapping. I was like, what? I was like, wow. I was like, I didn't know she had it in her. Like I've met her a few times, like even before she signed with AEW. She was always super nice, but to see like things coming together, I mean, it's been great to see. And also, she doesn't need to win matches. I think where she's at, she's in a great spot.
No,
that's a great story.
That's the best part of her character is that she doesn't need to win any matches.
You think? Yeah, she just has to be stupid. Yeah, she's doing her job by entertaining us.
I like the part where you just said the 10 count, and she's like, wait.
She's like, wait, what? It should be specified. We mentioned earlier, Jim Smallman announced that he's leaving his position at WWE NXT. He did put onto social media this morning that he's not leaving WWE. He's only leaving his creative role with NXT. He previously announced that he resigned from his position in order to move back to the UK to spend more time with his family. I think that he's going to probably become a recruiter for WWE in the UK independent scene and probably identify what promotions for WWE to make WWE ID program.
Yeah, I see that. I definitely see that happening. If that's the case, they're gonna utilize him, and I think that's one of the best ways to do it, especially if you're going to the UK. I mean, I've kind of been accepting of it. I'm like, yeah, they're doing WAID. They're probably gonna get a lot of people. I'm like, you can't really stop it at this point. Hey, at least he still got a job.
We also got to announce MSG, Madison Square Garden, just announced CM Punk versus Ludwig Kaiser for next Thursday's post-Christmas house show. So.
Stupid.
Another big return that could be coming in North Carolina. Fightful Select reports that AEW star and former TNT champion, the Rated R superstar Adam Copeland, is expected to make his AEW return soon. Per the report, Copeland is expected back in AEW, quote-unquote, imminently. Copeland has been on the injury shelf after suffering a broken leg during his barbed wire steel cage match against Malachi Black earlier in May at Double or Nothing 2024. He was reportedly cleared for training several weeks ago, Fightful notes that most within AEW expect him to be back by the January 1st edition of Dynamite in Asheville, North Carolina at the Harold's Cherokee Center, since he currently lives in the area. That will also serve as the Fight for the Fallen episode, with proceeds going to different people that were affected by the Hurricane Helene storms earlier this year, as well as it will serve as the premiere on Max for AEW. Additionally, Fightful reports that AEW wants to make the January 1st edition of Dynamite a big show, as it will be the first simulcast edition of Dynamite on TBS and Warner Brothers Discovery's Max. As previously reported, FTR issued a challenge for the upcoming January 1st episode. They said they would not come alone. The tag team has a well-documented friendship with Copeland, and Fightful also notes that multiple sources expect Copeland to appear on the January 1st show. So I ask you a similar question to the one I asked Miss Krssi Love. What do you think Copeland's return is going to bring to AEW if he does come back at Fight for the Fallen, Josh?
I think it's gonna be probably more consistency. Overall programming. I think Copeland does certain things well, right? Like I think he hits the marks on a lot of things. He cuts promos great, ring work great. So there's things that he's capable of. Now I'm not gonna use the whole ratings things because that's just that's
what it is.
Yeah. But I think he brings more consistency for the show. Like, add something to the show that it's gonna matter. It's gonna feel like it matters, even if it's a match and if you put him in a good storyline, it's gonna get people interested because, again, he's one of those guys that not only he could cut a promo, but I think like when they do like those vignettes, like backstage segments or like vignettes, that's where he's at his best when he does like those kind of promos. So there's things that he adds, and I think a little bit more consistency. I think he would add. Hopefully, that's my hope when it comes to him coming back.
We can't hear you, friend.
Oh yeah, I would hope so as well. Miss Krssi Love wanted to ask you what dream match you want to see from Copeland upon his return.
Copeland versus Copeland and Omega.
That's a good one. I was gonna say Copeland.
We just asked about the old guy. You just asked us about. That's Copeland and Moxley is not bad.
Yeah, I think Copeland and Moxley.
They never did anything on. They've been off. They never made it. Okay, that makes sense.
No, because Copeland was retired when Moxley was in WWE.
Right. Or Swerve as well too.
Swerve is a good one. But let's move on to the final bit of news. After Dynamite, All Elite Wrestling has revealed the details for the upcoming debut on Max, noting that all past events from 2019 will be available on the streaming service at launch. In addition to that, more than 2 months of AEW's recent programming will also be available. That includes Dynamite, Collision, Rampage, and the entire pay-per-view library. AEW launches on Max on January 1st with a live Fight for the Fallen episode on Dynamite. AEW has clarified the status of their content that will be available on Max, noting that the content will not be rolling off. As reported, AEW announced on Thursday that all past events from 2019 will be available when the company's content launches on Max, with more made available on Max on a rolling basis. The AEW on TV Twitter account clarified the content will not be rolling off, and that the rolling basis is in terms of when it comes to Max. So we'll be getting it slow and steady. It's going to be similar to kind of the launch of WWE Network, or when WWE Network moved to Peacock, how they're going to put content on there. They haven't created a streaming service where we could put years of content library up on the first day. It has to be a slow rollover type process. So. AEW Collision Winter is Coming was last Saturday, guys. The show featured Mark Briscoe defeating Kyle Fletcher in an excellent main event. Great underdog story with Briscoe coming from behind to beat the Blue League leader. He earns 3 points, 6 points overall, basically tripling what he did last year in the C2 in the Blue League of the Continental Classic. Elsewhere in the tournament, Kazuchika Okada beat the Beast Mortos in a rock-solid bout in the Blue League. Willow Nightingale put on an absolute banger against Jamie Hayter to advance in the International Women's Cup Finals at Wrestle Dynasty. Post-match, Julia Hart returned to lay out Hayter with a DDT. Toni Storm picked up a victory over Shaza McKenzie. Post-match, Storm announced that she was officially all elite after signing with the company. Meanwhile, Thunder Rosa challenged Mariah May to a Tijuana street fight for the AEW Women's World title at World's End. She also was interrupted by Toni Storm, who really wanted to introduce herself to Thunder Rosa since she never met her before. And Tony Schiavone. She was very excited to see Tony Schiavone. And also, Don Callis made Konosuke Takeshita versus Powerhouse Hobbs for the AEW International Championship official for World's End. And the Death Riders closed the show by attacking and seemingly kidnapping FTR, which has caused them to not be cleared from competition. Rampage Holiday Bash last night. The show featured Brody King beating Commander in a great main event to earn 3 points, 6 points overall in the Globe League of the Continental Classic. Willow Nightingale defeated my favorite, Harley Cameron. Post-match, Penelope Ford jumped Willow with Harley until Chris Statlander came out to make the save for Willow. This came off the heels of her wishing Willow luck at the Tokyo Dome as well. So maybe
they're gonna be friends again. Yay!
Maybe Statlander trying to get her old girl back.
The old
she
thing
wants the
back.
heroin checks. And finally, the Don Callis families, Konosuke Takeshita and Brian Cage, beat Powerhouse Hobbs and Mark Davis in a good opener to the show as well. So really good stuff I thought Collision, that was the best episode of Collision this year. Like the main event, Mark Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher blew my expectations out the water. It lasted as the best match in the C2 for about 4 days, but those were 4 days. It was the best match in the C2 for 4 days until Ospreay and Darby, they rang the bell. But they told a great story there. Excellent matchup. Okada and Beast Mortos was fun. Toni Storm, this new character, I'm loving this so far. I'm loving the portrait of a rock star. I'm loving her being all elite. I'm loving her introducing herself to people. Toni Storm is just so hilarious, so entertaining. I love this character. I think that honestly, it's kind of weird, but I think that one of the weaker points outside of the usual suspects over the last couple of weeks, Adam Cole, MJF, Chris Jericho, the weakest part of AEW right now, unfortunately, is the Death Riders.
I didn't want to say it.
Hey, yeah, it is.
It's like
it is.
Something that's getting a little stale now. That should should be like one of the hot things. Is kind of like. Right.
To be honest,
they didn't keep their foot on the gas. They took their foot off the gas of this, and it's falling apart.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly, it's not even like it's not so much that it's stale. It's just that I'm waiting on something, and it feels like
it hasn't come yet.
Still waiting. That's how it comes off. And the reason why I was shaking my head. And the reason why I was shaking my head when Sid was talking about Collision, it wasn't the fact that I disagreed with him. It was the fact that I regret watching Saturday Night Main Event over Collision. That's where I was like, fuck. And then I did watch it, and I was like, damn, that was a fucking great episode of Collision. Yeah. And as far as the Toni Storm stuff goes, I think it's kind of going what I expected. I think it's going very well. I like the fact that she's playing into like this new like version of herself, where it's like old version, but then it's like she's seen everybody as new, and I think what it is, and I think I saw somebody mention it or elaborate or something. I think it's probably Timeless Tony kind of playing this version of Tony Storm, and that's why I think it's coming off hilariously. I think it's all a ruse.
It's a new role, but she's still timeless. But this is her new role.
Yeah, because like you see her, like she's still like even in the matchup, like she was doing the thing, and then she changed it back to this. And also, to her credit, I mean, she's kind of people have been wanting to watch. Like, we kind of last week about Rampage, right? We were like, her match should have been on Rampage. Rampage had a spike in viewership because she was on.
Because she was there.
It might not have been the biggest, but it means something. Like if you're talking about something like you're drawing a certain amount and then she gets put on and it goes up. One, I think it's a good thing because it kind of shows I'm like, she definitely needs to be on Dynamite more. And I think that, I think it's gonna end up happening. But so far I've been liking her return. I've liked how they presented her coming back and the segments. I think she's been on point. So it's been fun to see that for her. Oh, I think you're muted again.
Yeah. Nope.
I keep muting myself. I think they've done a good job of bringing her back and creating a story that you could watch progress over the next couple of months. Especially, I think that we could finally get a women's pay-per-view main event at Grand Slam if they pay this off right. Tony Storm versus Mariah May, the rematch that could main event Australia.
I think
that's a good one that you mentioned. I think that would be such a great spot for them because it wouldn't feel forced. It's not something like, oh my God, we have to do. I think it kind of will fall in line, and I think that's the perfect spot for them.
Yeah, I agree there. But we also got the women. Got some news coming out of Collision and Rampage. We got Power Drive Finisher who says, it was me all along. Props to Tony for keeping it up. And not going to lie, the stories may be with Mariah, but Mariah's elitist character is actually enjoyable for me. Yes. She's been doing a great job of getting across her character. I liked her promo this week as well. Unfortunate
for me. Started to get there.
Unfortunate news in regards to AEW this week, as the woman who was a victim of domestic violence from BJ Whitmer, former employee of AEW, says she's had issues with AEW's legal team over the matter. As previously reported, Whitmer was fired from his position as a producer in AEW after he was arrested in June of 2023 on charges of strangulation in the first degree and burglary in the second degree. Whitmer was sentenced in March on the charges after entering an Afford plea in which a defendant acknowledges there is enough evidence for a reasonable jury to convict and thus pleads guilty while still maintaining their innocence. Whitmer received 5 years probation and 120-day home incarceration on the charges. Jamie Hahn is the victim in the case and has launched a GoFundMe in which she says she is now a homeless mother of 3, and as a result of careless, egotistical, and inhumane actions of AEW, All Elite Wrestling, and Chris Peck, the latter of whom is a legal counsel of AEW. Hahn says that she has been dealing with a number of struggles throughout the criminal and civil court process of the assault, and that she has lost her home and was staying in a car until it broke down. Hahn proceeds to outline her difficulties in dealing with Peck, specifically referring to him as a single-handedly having had a direct impact on the criminal case against Whitmer, his sentencing, and Hahn's ability to properly recover financially, mentally, and physically. She describes having dealt initially with Mega Perquet, having reached out to her first on June 10th, 2023 as a last result, when local law enforcement hadn't responded to prior abuse incidents. She says she knew Perquet had experience in mental health and crisis management from conversations with Whitmer. Hahn states that Perquet seemed to understand that she was seeking a policy change and a quote-unquote committed plan to address domestic violence in the wrestling industry. Hahn states that Perquet asked her to send over information she had to support her claims of abuse and took action and terminated Whitmer after reviewing the situation. Perquet has also offered her domestic violence trauma therapy resources, a home security system after Whitmer was released on bail, a security detail to EPO at a court hearing where Whitmer was present, and detailed and itemized financial support for specialized therapy and basic living expenses that cannot be met due to severe medical condition following the attack. Hahn says that she talked about partnering with the company to strategically create and raise awareness of domestic violence, as well as target policy changes to prevent people from going through similar situations and to show how companies can support victims of domestic violence. Hahn proceeds to outline her difficulties in dealing with Peck, specifically saying that he basically came in after Perquet left the company and wasn't as judicious as far as helping her in this process with the court case and domestic violence from Whitmer. So dealing with him caused her to have this breakdown and not be able to recover financially, emotionally, or physically. And that is why she's basically letting it all out and talking about the legal issues that AEW has been dealing with, which seems like a fucking storm, a snowstorm at this point with the amount of shit that has come up in the past month. What do y'all think?
Let's come. I don't. It sounds it's very complicated. Like, I don't want to take nothing away from her, so I kind of want to like not say the wrong thing because I'm like, it sounds pretty yeah, like, I mean, when this first thing happened, like when I heard about it the first time, obviously, like, yeah, he shouldn't be in the company, like that, and that's for anybody in any kind of position. You know, domestic violence, I do take seriously because I've seen people go through it. It's a real thing, and you know, I'm all for awareness of it because it is a real thing. It's just with the situation, yeah, you know, if they did promise her things, you know, and they did say they want to work with her, and then they kind of just didn't go on their word, you know, that is on them. You know, unfortunately, that is on them. If, you know, you just didn't keep your word or whatever the case may be. So I kind of just don't want to, I kind of don't want to step on, like, you know, her toes or anything, because it's.
I mean, I think that it's a personal situation. BJ Whitmer basically has proven that he wasn't the best person and wasn't the best domestic partner. And we have already established that AEW's legal team has not been the same since Mega Perquet left the company. So it is kind of what it is.
Yeah, and that's why it's
going to be a developing story.
Yeah, and it's one of those things again. It's like, I don't want to step on these toes. I don't want to, you know, take anything away from her. It's just, it's one of those situations where, you know, things have changed from AEW. You know, they have revamped a lot of things since a lot of those things happened. So it's kind of hard to try to speak on things like that because, like, yeah, we know the fuck ups they've made. We know about the screw ups, but at the same time, it's like currently they do have to deal with it, but it sounds so, it's a little too personal for me to like try to discredit anybody. I'm like, you know, kind of just want to, you know, hopefully it works out for her. Like everything, something happens, I hope it works out for her because it's not a fun thing to deal with.
It's really, really sad. And like you said, we don't really know all like gist of what's happening, but it's just like, damn, like how you gonna, you know?
Wasn't he with the same person, right? The person that committed the crime. Wasn't he with like somebody from like Ring of Honor or something, or that was like another person.
He was with was it Kelly Klein or something like that, I think, or
like the former world champion, right? Like the former champion something, right? That's how I remember him from. Like, and I think he even had issues with her. So this was not a good dude. He's not a good dude.
That's what I said. He's proven not to be a good dude, so it is what it is. But we have another developing story that we've been keeping track of over the last couple of weeks. It is involving Chris Jericho, AEW, Ricky Starks, and GCW. GCW got a visit from the Learning Tree last weekend as Chris Jericho showed up at the highest in the room 3 to take out Matt Cardona and Effie. The Ring of Honor World Champion showed up at the GCW event on Saturday in a hood to attack Cardona during his match with Effie. Jericho hit Cardona with a bat, and after Effie pinned Cardona, Jericho took him out too before unmasking. Effie was replacing Ricky Starks in the match after AEW pulled Starks from the show. Jericho and Cardona will compete at ROH Final Battle on Saturday last night, for Jericho's world title. In an interview with Gabby at AF, Chris Jericho said that he would be surprised if AEW doesn't end up signing Matt Cardona to a contract sometime soon. It was reported earlier this week that AEW was interested in locking down Cardona ahead of his matchup with Jericho at Final Battle. He said, and I quote, "I mean, he's done such a great job of reinventing himself and turning himself into a star. And he's much more of a performer of an asset now as Matt Cardona than he ever was as Zack Ryder. It's similar to Jon Moxley. Think about Jon Moxley and the comparison to Dean Ambrose. It's night and day. So, of course, he would be an asset, and I think he's done a great job since he showed up at AEW, and we've done a lot of stuff on Ring of Honor. Matt has done a great job. He had a great match with Brian Keefe. He's had some great promos, great reactions, because he was a surprise. So I expect that we're going to tear the house down at ROH Final Battle, and I'd very much be surprised if something doesn't happen after that." In the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer reported that AEW is interested in signing Matt Cardona to a contract ahead of his match with Chris Jericho at Final Battle. He said, and I quote, "There was at least talk of Cardona getting an AEW contract. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, or if he's already agreed. And I guess we'll find out, obviously, if he beats Jericho, which I don't expect to happen. But if he does, obviously, they won't do it unless he's under contract." We'll get into Final Battle a bit here shortly, but do you want to see AEW sign Matt Cardona to a contract, Krssi Love?
Yes. But also, that access of that contract give him free range of like what he's been doing right now.
That is true. I mean, AEW contracts have some freedom. They just have to clear their independent bookings with AEW. Does he want to kind of give up that freedom?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Is the question there? And honestly, I think the question is from the AEW side. Do you really want to sign that for all intents and purposes? I think we all know he wants to go to WWE. Like he would just be signing with you because he hasn't got a contract from WWE. But as soon as he signs with you, he is more likely to get a contract from WWE.
Absolutely.
And if I'm Matt Cardona, if I get a contract from AEW, I'm going right to Paul Triple H Levesque, or I'm sending a screenshot right to Wifey, the U.S. champion, and I'm telling her to show it to Triple H.
Yep, absolutely. Because that's the end goal right there, is that he wants to be with his lady. End of the day.
I think even if his lady wasn't there, he wants to be back in WWE.
Well, true, but also he left to show them what he can do. Well, was he fired? I don't remember. But, that doesn't even matter. Look at what he's done since he's not been with that company. And I think he's more than capable of doing it over there, if or when that happens.
I think that he should, because he brings something different.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right.
But you cannot have him play babyface. Have him play the heel character that got him over after his WWE run. Having him play some fucking fake babyface character because he's facing Chris Jericho did not help, because that was probably the worst match on the show last night. So, spoiler alert. But final bit of news before we get into and just so we are clear here, guys, things are probably still the same between AEW and GCW. This was Chris Jericho's decision to show up at the GCW event. It wasn't AEW working with GCW.
Oh, Chris Jericho being Chris Jericho.
Yes. And basically Chris Jericho trying to smooth the relationship because they lost out on Ricky Starks, but they got Chris Jericho instead.
I don't think that's a fair, compare like fair exchange, but whatever.
Don't know what to tell you. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that AEW Senior Manager of Communications and Public Relations John Snyder has left the company. He departed on December 13th. He had been with AEW since 2021. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the reason for his exit is that he had found a new job. So congratulations to him on the new job. Adam Hopkins, who was previously with WWE, has now taken over his role with AEW. I got to meet him last night, so congratulations to him on a more responsibilities in his role. Mm-hmm. Then we got, speaking of which, Ring of Honor TV on Honor Club and Ring of Honor Final Battle last night. Honor Club on Thursday, he had Athena and Billy Starks pick up a victory after the ROH Women's World Champion used her Final Battle opponent as a weapon. Post-match, Billy was so pissed she destroyed the Ring of Honor Women's Spinner title, but Athena beat her down after a brawl. Shane Taylor Promotions and the Grizzled Young Veterans beat Dark Order and the Undisputed Kingdom in an 8-man tag team main event. But that set the stage for Final Battle in the Hammerstein Ballroom last night. The show featured Athena defeating Billy Starks in a shocking result in what was a terrific main event to the show to retain the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Chris Jericho beat Mark Cardona to retain the Ring of Honor World Championship. And it came after Chris Jericho came out to Frank Sinatra's New York, New York. Tony Khan, you maniac. How much money did you spend on New York, New York for a Ring of Honor pay-per-view? You maniac. Post-match, the Learning Tree jumped Cardona until Bandito made his return to make the save. Commander defeated Blake Christian, Mark Davis, Willie Mack, AR Fox, and Brian Cage in an exhilarating survival of the fittest match to win the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Nigel McGuinness, the former Ring of Honor World Champion, made his return to the Hammerstein Ballroom, answering the open challenge of Lee Moriarty for the Pure Championship in what was a superb match. Moriarty defeated the ROH legend and greatest Pure Champion McGuinness. The Sons of Texas beat the Righteous in a double bull rope match to retain the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. Jay Lethal as Black Machismo defeated QT Marshall in a very fun matchup. Red Velvet defeated Layla Hirsch by using a wrench to retain the Ring of Honor Women's TV title, turning heel in the process. And Katsuyori Shibata picked up a win against the Dynamite Kid Tommy Billington. And on 0 Hour, you had Gates of Agony pick up a win over Team Lee J. But post-match, Lee Johnson and EJ Nduko turned heel by attacking the Gates. And Danhausen made his return to Tony Khan Promotions by helping out Atlantis Jr. get the win over Mansoor in what turned out to be a pretty fun opener to the show. So all in all, ROH Final Battle, super fun show to be at live. Love the new look for the Hammerstein Ballroom. That new setup looked absolutely gorgeous. Loved it. Looked immaculate, especially with the roof up top as well. Josh, I know you watched Final Battle, a little bit of Final Battle last night. What did you think?
Oh, I watched the whole thing. It was a fun show. It's one of those things where it's like, I try to keep an open mind just because and the reason why I say that is because we're not getting the old ROH, we're not getting that old feeling. And I've been in that building, we're like with incredible Final Battle shows. That's just where the situation is at now when it comes to that. But I thought overall it was a fun show. I thought it did, what they said they were going to do. The only down point I would say is the Jericho and Cardona match. At times it felt like it was slow.
One of those matches.
But then unfortunately, Bandito, that thing happened, and I was just like, oh. I was like, oh no. I was like, oh. What happened was that for anybody who didn't watch, Bandito comes back, right? He gets a great reaction. He goes on the top rope, throws a drop kick to Jericho, and then he gets back up, and he just looks like he was like knocked out or something. It looks like the wind got knocked out of him. He barely got back up. And you can see something wrong with him. And then, I give credit to Big Bill. Big Bill tried to do something, but then I guess he realized, like, oh shit, something is wrong, and he just got.
It basically looked like he got the wind knocked out of him. I wanted to ask Tony Khan about Bandito during the post media scrum, but he took 2 questions and he was out of there, which I don't mind because it was like 1 a.m. But I did want to ask about Bandito because I was worried because I was like, oh no, he looks fucked. He looks fucked. After he took the bump on the missile drop kick and he came down, you could tell something wasn't right.
Yeah, and again, I give credit to obviously the situation didn't look good, and obviously like they kind of sucked the energy out of the building because people kind of saw that.
I disagree with that because the
energy was on TV. No, like on TV. The energy
was right back. No, but like the energy was right back for Athena and Billy. The crowd was into it from the start. In that situation, like people got excited that they saw him, but then it was kind of like, after they saw he was. Well, of course, if someone gets hurt, and
that's what I meant more.
They come up with the weird stuff, but that was only 1
minute. That's more what I meant about because again, I do give credit to Big Bill because he saw something was not right and he just got out of there. So I think I give him credit for that, just knowing the ring awareness of like, oh shit, something is wrong. I'm not gonna further this guy's health. I'm not gonna compromise his health. I've always liked little things like that. Just to read the situation. I thought he did that very well. And then the main event, I thought it was a great main event. And I was shocked with the result because I was just like, damn, she won again.
They're never taking this title off of Athena. Like, she's literally going to be the forever champion.
Who do you want to give it to?
And there was people who loved it.
My thought is that Billy's still going to win, but they're going to wait for the first TV show.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, you shouldn't have done this match, though. You shouldn't have done this match. You don't do it back to back and then have her still lose. And she lost it was even a more dominant win than last year for Athena. It felt.
Yep.
Yeah, and it kind of felt like Joe Hendry-esque, where it was like, damn, she never gonna get the belt.
Yes. Pretty much very Joe Hendry-esque. And thank you to our good brother Power Driver Finisher. Power Driver Finisher.
Athena's her attire and the face paint. I love it.
Yeah, she talked about her love of Batman during the post-media scrum. Power Driver Finisher is from Texas, so he's one of the big Athena fans. So he says, Athena forever, forever, forever. We also got the King Ellie Show, who asked a question saying, SP3, thank you, King Ellie Show. SP3, did you hear the plans for Liv at Mania? Her fans are not going to be happy. No, I did not hear the plans for Liv at Mania, but the King Ellie Show explains. He says, let's just say it involves some Bliss. So they want to do Alexa Bliss versus Liv Morgan at WrestleMania. I mean, what would that be for? Unless they do something, I can see them doing. Actually, you know what I could see them doing, King Ellie? I could see them doing Liv and Raquel, eventually other ones that dethrone Bianca and Naomi, for the women's tag team titles after Liv drops the world title. And then it's Liv and Raquel versus Alexa and Nikki Cross at WrestleMania for the tag team titles. Because I don't see them having a non-title match at no WrestleMania. I just don't. I'm sorry. Liv Morgan's not that big of a star to be having no non-title match. Sorry. But yes, thank you for the super chat donation, King Ellie Show. I'm just saying. I don't know if I'm offending anybody, but I don't care also. But really good show last night for ROH Final Battle. But our final show, what we missed, NJPW Strong Style Evolved, which was last Sunday. The show featured, my Lord, somehow in a week that had Will Ospreay and Darby Allin tear it up on Dynamite, it might not be the best match of the week. Because Mercedes Mone defeated Hazuki in an absolutely spectacular main event of NJPW Strong Style Evolved to retain the NJPW Strong Women's Championship. That is arguably being talked about as the greatest women's match to take place in the United States of America ever, or at least since Bayley versus Sasha at TakeOver Brooklyn. Post-match, you also had Mina Shirakawa appear to challenge Mercedes for Wrestle Dynasty. Monet accepted, but wants Mina to put up the Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Championship as well. Jack Perry and Konosuke Takeshita beat Los Ingobernables de Japon's Yota Tsuji and Shingo Takagi in a great tag team matchup. Post-match, Perry and Takeshita jumped LIJ until Hiromu Takahashi made the save, only for the Young Bucks to make a surprise appearance to super kick Hiromu before setting their sights on Wrestle Dynasty. Gabe Kidd defeated Roye Uyawa in what I thought was a great hard-hitting bout to retain the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship. Post-match, Kidd cut a promo on Kenny Omega ahead of Wrestle Dynasty and challenged Tomohiro Ishii for Battle in the Valley on January 11th. Hechicero beat Leo Rush in an awesome Styles Clash. TJP picked up a victory over Kushida, Clark Connors, and Kosei Fujita in a very good four-way match. TMDK's Zack Sabre Jr., Shane Hayes, and Bad Dude Tito beat Shoto Aminu and Dirty Work in a fun trios matchup. And the West Coast Wrecking Crew picked up the win, defeating Grizzled Young Veterans in what I thought was a great old-school tag team matchup to win the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team titles. Finally, post-match, Rocky Romero challenged the new champs on behalf of Roppongi Revice since Yo is in Japan. So WCWC beat down Rocky before accepting the challenge. So, the Strong Style Evolved, arguably probably second or third best New Japan US show this year. And Mercedes Moné versus Hazuki, if y'all two haven't saw that already, that literally made me change my women's match of the year.
Oh, you changed your categories of everyone that you had picked?
No, I didn't switch the categories. I dropped the match and I dropped everything down to one because Mercedes and Hazuki is my women's match of the year.
Okay.
So fucking brilliant. It was so great.
You gotta do that for me too, because that was great. That was a great match.
So great. We got
I had to yeah. No, I was gonna say I had the
You there?
Is Wi-Fi going on?
Wait, is my Wi-Fi acting up again? I don't know. Am I good?
Or like on the delay. I don't know. But go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
And everything,
yeah.
Oh no, I was saying that I also had that as my women's match of the year. Incredible matchup. Mercedes, she's showing you why she's one of the best in the world, regardless of what fans want to be upset about with her. She proved.
You know, the people are gonna just be trolls. It's okay. We're kind of used to it by now, guys.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I'm like trolls are like Teflon to me. They just bounce off. But Mercedes done shut up a lot of people who were hating on her after 2 kind of disappointing matches with Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida at the all pay-per-views, All In, All Out. She's really shed that bad aura from there with the match against Chris Statlander, the match against Hazuki. The match on Wednesday was probably like Anna Jay's best singles match. Like, those are 3 back-to-back very good to all-timer matches for Mercedes. Then really, she's honestly improved her stock as far as her overall Women's Wrestler of the Year argument with the matches that she's had the last 2 months.
She's motivated, and I like seeing it. She's been motivated ever since, you know. I do think in a way she does care of like the feedback, right? I think in all of us, I think
talking about it.
Yeah, you know, like, you know, and you know, she's proving herself. You know, she doesn't want to be remembered as somebody who's getting paid a lot and not putting in the work. I think she's showing you know, that she's probably worth what she's getting paid. The best way to do it is to perform, and that's what she's been doing.
And then finally, before we wrap things up for what we missed, TNA, they had their Christmas special show, but we have some TNA news and about the fallout of Miss Krssi Love's favorite person in the world, Tessa Blanchard.
Oh my God. Well, I got to...
As previously reported, Tessa Blanchard made her return to TNA Wrestling at Final Resolution, where she attacked Jordynne Grace. Grace is rumored to be leaving TNA for WWE, so it's likely that Blanchard would be her final program. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that several sources have suggested that Blanchard's ultimate goals is to get a run in WWE. And there are reportedly some in WWE who want her to sign with the company. It was noted that the current plan is that Blanchard wrestling in the United States could get normalized in TNA, and if everything goes smoothly, WWE would then decide whether or not to bring her in. Due to TNA's limited schedule, Blanchard was hoping to be able to continue working in CMLL and TNA, but CMLL decided against it a few weeks ago. So there you have it. Some people actually want to work with Tessa Blanchard, and I mean, I've known for a while that Tessa Blanchard freaking wants to be in WWE. It's been quite obvious.
And they're gonna probably sign that trifling ass whore.
They have been staying away from her, but I don't know. It's, you know, there's a lot of people defending it. Not the WWE stuff, but they were defending like, oh well, she apologized and she owned up to her mistakes. I'm like, not publicly. I mean, that's the difference between publicly and if you want to do it in private. Because what she did was publicly. Like what she did, like calling out the women, was public. You know?
Yeah.
She has to own up to it. So yeah.
Terrible. Bitch. Sorry.
We have to see you when you say that. We have to see you when you say that. You can't just say
I got my Chad Gable face to give it all.
She said that bitch word like in a way that it was like she didn't want us to hear it, but she wanted us to hear it at the same time.
We got Fire Driver Finisher. He says, "Got to make a podcast. Wrestling promotions worst hired." That's why I like literally because of what we've talked about on today's podcast. I am fully expecting Tessa Blanchard to work in WWE one day.
Yep.
Like if you hire Lee Fitting after everything that we know about him now, then you would definitely hire Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard has a probably even more baggage than Lee Fitting, and she's a good wrestler. Yeah, they're definitely gonna sign her.
No matter what the hell she did, they don't give a shit.
She's a good wrestler, so
right.
Marketer, that's fine.
That's all that Paul cares about. That's all he cares
TNA, about. I mean, and TNA is in a position where they're losing a shitload of people at the same time. So
Trent Seven left this week. Kushida's not re-signing with the company. Aiden Prince is also not signing with the company, and that's to go along with Jordan Grace, Speedball Mike Bailey, Josh Alexander, AJ Francis, who are all leaving the company as well.
Is Francis leaving?
Huh?
Is Francis
AJ,
leaving?
yeah. Well, he could resign, but his contract is coming up. Jade
Right.
Chung, who was their ring announcer, he was
That's Alexander's wife.
Yeah. Jade Chung, she was the ring announcer. She left the company as well. So, yeah.
That's Alexander's wife. Yep, that's his wife. He made like a fucking great post about her, about like her leaving, and she's gonna be fine.
Yeah, she'll get work independent.
Yeah, she's gonna be fine. So.
Maybe in a bigger promotion one day. And Josh is leaving anyway, so it was about that time. But yeah, it's not looking good right now for TNA. We're gonna keep track of all the mass exodus, and maybe for the final Tru Heel Heat of 2024, we'll go over everyone that is leaving TNA to end off the year. But we're gonna close off this episode with our matches of the week and best and worst of the week. This is where we give a star wrestler, promotion, or whatnot the best of the week, meaning they had the best week, or if they had the worst week, we give them the worst of the week. So, Miss Krssi Love, who's your best and worst of the week?
Best of the week, I'm going to give it to Ricochet.
I am with it. Worst of the week?
Worst of the week, I'm going to give it to... Saturday night main event.
Damn. Okay. Best of the week, I will give it to. I'm gonna give it to Mercedes Moné. Between
her match with matches, yeah,
the
that's a good one. I like that.
She's turning the perception around her around slowly but surely for the people that are paying attention. And then worst of the week, Lee Fitting. Definitely Lee Fitting.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Okay, I'll take that back. You're right. I'll give it to that one. Saturday night main event wasn't that bad. Okay, fine.
Sure. Josh, what about you?
Best of the week, Mercedes. Like you said, she's proving a lot of people wrong, which I'm not surprised with. She's super talented, no matter what people want to believe. She's always been talented. And all she's doing is proving herself. That she's just proving it. Worst week, obviously feeling that's. I mean, can't get any worse than that. Like, damn, bro, you got fired and you got hired, and now motherfuckers exposed why you got fired in the first place.
Oh man, it's tough. It's tough out here. But that is our best and worst of the week. Then we got our matches of the week, and yes, it was another busy week. So yes, I have 10. I was really saying like earlier in the week, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna surprise them. I'm gonna do 5. and then you had Final Battle and stuff last night. I was like, fuck, I'm fucked again. I'm gonna do 10. Number 10, Jack Perry and Konosuke Takeshita versus LIJ from Strong Style Evolved. Really fun tag team matchup there, hyping up the two Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty matches. Then we got number 9, Gabe Kidd versus Roye Uyawa from Strong Style Evolved. Then we got Brody King versus Cole Manda from Rampage last night. Number 7, Fraxium versus Gallus from NXT on Tuesday. Number 6, the Survival of the Fittest for the TV title last night at Final Battle. Commander, Blake Christian, Brian Cage, Mark Davis, Willie Mack, and AR Fox. Number 5, Athena versus Billy Starks. That was a great main event, despite me being so surprised by the finish. Number 4, what I thought was the best match at Final Battle, Lee Moriarty versus Nigel McGuinness. Just so great, and Lee just was smiling ear to ear when we talked to him during the post media scrum, and I actually got to ask him a question, so that was cool as well. Number 3, Mark Briscoe versus Kyle Fletcher from Collision. Winter is Coming last Saturday. Excellent underdog babyface story. Number 2, one of the most sensational matches of the year, Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay from AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash. But number 1 this week, yes, in a week that had Darby and Ospreay, it's Mercedes Moné versus Hazuki, NJPW Strong Style Evolved, the best women's match of 2024. Krssi.
So you put it at number 1, I put it at number 5 for me. Which is Mercedes and Suzuki. I saw it on YouTube. Number 4 is gonna go to Kevin and Cody. Number 3 will go to I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna put Mercedes again and Anna Jay.
Wait, you thought Anna Jay and Mercedes was better than Mercedes and Hazuki?
No, okay, so we'll switch it then. Sorry, I got my numbers right.
I'm sorry. I don't usually question y'all on your match of the year. But I was just like, wait, what?
Oh my god, you mess up my number order. I just asked
the question.
Don't feel too bad, Krssi, because I did that to John when John put Trick Williams in the top 5 of the year.
Okay.
He definitely did.
No, what am I at 2? Since I was just crucified 2. For that.
2.
Athena and Billy, I watched it this morning, and then number 1 is going to be Ospreay and Darby.
Josh, top 5.
Actually, yeah, I think there's been enough for top 5, so I'm gonna try to do top 5.
Yeah, because you always do 3.
Yeah, I always do 3, but this was actually a really good week of solid wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, I'm gonna go with Briscoe versus Fletcher. That was fun.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Damn it.
Great result too. I don't give a fuck anybody says. That was a great result. Number 4, I'm gonna say Mercedes versus Anna Jay. That was a fun matchup, and I do agree that was Anna Jay's best match. And ever since she's come back from Japan, I felt like she's had she's looked better, a lot better. Number 3, I'm gonna go with the match from last night, the Survivor of the Fittest for the television title.
Yeah,
it was a fun matchup, but that last sequence, those last 2 guys fucking killed it. That was incredible.
Christian and Commander had the Hammerstein Brawl rocking last night.
Yo, that was a great sequence alone. I think if the matchup, if it was just them 2, you're talking about like, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. But number 2, I'm gonna go with Ospreay versus Darby. And then number 1, Mercedes and what's her name again? What's her name?
Suzuki.
Hazuki. Hazuki.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was Hazuki. You know, and it's crazy too. SP3 did say that he felt like it was probably gonna be like a match of one of the best matches of the year, and he wasn't too far off. So
yeah, but even me with that expectation, blew my expectations out of the water. I was like, God damn.
It was kind of like, I knew it was gonna be great, but goddamn, I didn't know it was gonna be that great.
I didn't expect all this. Jeez. But that brings us to a close on another edition of our flagship podcast. We want to thank you all for joining us live. Thank you all if you're watching us on demand. If you haven't already, drop the thumbs up on the video. If you're watching us on demand, let us know in the comments down below what you thought about this week in wrestling. What do you think about Punk versus Reigns at WrestleMania 41? Kenny Omega, Adam Copeland's AEW returns. Who do you want to see those 2 men go up against when they make their return to All Elite Wrestling? ROH Final Battle thoughts, New Japan Strong Style Evolved thoughts. Do you think Mercedes and Hazuki is the best women's match of the year? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you to Krssi Love and Josh. Krssi, the floor is yours. Let everybody know where they can follow you.
Hey friends, thank you again for another great week. Thank you for subscribing to our crazy channel. We love you all. But you can follow me, Krssi Love _1, Tru Heel Krssi Love on Twitter, and then it's just my plain old name. Watch myself and SP as we do our reviews on different pop culture shows that we love, and watch on our other channel. And I'm excited for the new year and the new shows that we'll be doing this upcoming year. So look out for that. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we got Josh. Let everybody know where they can follow you.
You can follow me, jam.321, Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, and then I'll be back next week. Right? It's our last episode of 2024, right?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Our year-end awards, my favorite episode. But yes. Oh, I thought he was
frozen.
But yes, you can follow me on the Twitter machine at Tru Heel SP3. You can follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Tru Heel Heat. Patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. Plus, you can vote right now on the Tru Heel Heat year-end awards. We'll be putting the rest of those award topics probably within the next couple of days. At least by Monday, you'll have all the awards for you to vote on. We'll be putting a link out on our community tab later today, so you can start voting on that. And the voting will end on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. next Saturday. So you got a whole week to get your votes in, have your voice be heard for our year-end awards next week right here on the flagship. Want to thank you all guys for joining us, and thank you all for helping us reach the 20,000 goal.
Yes, thank you again.
Goal at the beginning of the year. Sometimes, some parts of the year, I thought we weren't going to reach it, but you guys made it possible and made us believe. So thank you so much for that. But I will be back with you. I actually won't be live until Tuesday, 1:05
Look
p.m.
at you, SP.
We're
some days off.
But we got tomorrow dropping on the YouTube channel. We got our AEW Men's 2024 tier list. Monday we'll have one of our WWE 2024 tier list dropping, and we'll have plenty of other list videos: match of the year, men's wrestler of the year, women's wrestler of the year, feud of the year, major show of the year, worst match of the year, tag team of the year. That will be up on the channel during the holiday weeks within the next 2 weeks. So stay on the lookout for that. We got our AEW World's End preview next Friday as well. So be on the lookout for that. But for Krssi Love, for the True Jaw Josh, it is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. This has been Tru Heel Heat 308, returning favors. We are signing off until